Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang...
Brian's good for 320. Sorry, I'm just doing like 6 things at once. All right, I got Saban. It looks like it's going to play just fine.
All right, cool. And we're coming to you live from the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is the Pac-12 men's basketball tournament, the first day of competition, and we've got one game already in the books this afternoon, and it's the game that most of us here were wanting to see today, and that was the USC Trojans and the Washington Huskies, and a pretty good ball game as we expected it would be. Pretty nip and tuck down the entire stretch of that game today here at the T-Mobile Arena. But in the end, the Southern California Trojans were the team that came out on top, beating the Washington Huskies by a score of 80-74. And so USC will advance to take on the Arizona Wildcats tomorrow in the first quarterfinal of the day, which will tip off at noon here in Las Vegas. Boogie Ellis, who did not play all that well in the game on Saturday against the Wildcats. He was not one of the primary point scorers for USC that night, but he came to play tonight, scoring 25 points. He hit 5 of 10 three-point shots. These two teams combined for 23 pointers. Washington had 11. 5 of those came from their outstanding forward, Moses Wood, who was pretty much unstoppable in the first half of this ball game, hitting all 5 of his threes in the first half, but he did not make a single three-point shot after that, finishing with 17 points. And the Washington State Huskies season comes to an end here in the first round of the Pac-12 Conference Tournament, and it will be a different program moving forward as Mike Hopkins, as we have mentioned the last few days, will not be returning as the head coach. Now, in talking to some of the folks around the Washington program during this ball game, they had not had a chance to speak with Mike Hopkins since it was announced that he was not going to be retained. So their first opportunity to speak with him came just moments ago when he was in the press conference here in the press conference room at the T-Mobile Arena. So we'll have a chance later on. We'll bring you his comments, what he had to say about his run at the University of Washington, which comes to an end today. Andy Infield's team, however, from Southern California, moving on, and moving on with an pretty impressive winning streak now of 4 consecutive games. The Trojans are one of the hot teams right now in this conference. And again, I go back to what I said Saturday, even before they went out and beat Arizona in that game, which did not mean much to the Wildcats, but the Trojans are a team that you really don't want to face right now. And the Wildcats are going to have to do that, and they're going to have to beat them if they want to accomplish what they came to Las Vegas to accomplish, and that is to win 3 basketball games in 3 consecutive days. Now, also, don't forget, the Wildcats did not play one of the multi-team events this season, so they don't necessarily have that track record to fall back on of playing 3 games in 3 games this year. Now, of course, some of the guys on the team last year played in the Maui Invitational and can go back to what that was like to have to play 3 games in 3 days, but not this year, as the Wildcats did not play in one of those events. Really the most they played was 2 games in 3 days, but not 3 games in 3 straight days, and all of that takes to have to get to the end goal, as you come to find out in these conference tournaments. All right, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We've already got a question of the day up. We'll get to that coming up as well. Again, we are coming to you from the balls. And I say the of the T-Mobile Arena. If you were with us yesterday, it was a little bit of an adventure. We were out on the plaza for the show. We tried to come inside to get some interviews, which never happened. We went back out to the plaza, and then we were told we had to leave the plaza an hour before our show was over. So we got with the Pac-12 after the day was done. We came up with a solution. And here we are now in the balls of T-Mobile Arena. Actually, we are in the photo at the back. There's an couple of rooms that are at the back side of the photo workroom, which is being used as the photo workroom here at T-Mobile Arena. And so we have been given one of these rooms. Another radio station that is going to be broadcasting here over the course of the next couple of days has been given another room. So, hey, at least we're in the building. We're close to the action. It's not exactly picturesque. It's not exactly ambient, but it is what we've got, and it is what we'll work with. And we appreciate the Pac-12 for working with us to come up with a solution that was beneficial to our coverage here over the course of the next 3 days. And as you can see, if you're watching on one of our many video streams we've got, we're streaming this program video-wise on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. Any 4 of those platforms, you can watch the show. And you'll notice we've got a little thing up in the bottom left corner of your screen. Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. They are the sponsor of our Pac-12 road trip, so we appreciate Ron Arenas and his crew for sponsoring us on this trip. You will hear from Ron tomorrow on the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show as we get you set for the Arizona Wildcats, and as we know now, the USC Trojans. Back in studio is none other than J.W. Madden. Jay, I'm sure you got a chance to probably see a little bit of that game today between Washington and USC. Man, I tell you what, Moses Wood early on is the kind of player for the Washington Huskies that really scares me around this time of year. A guy who can just get hot at the right moment in a tournament setting, knocking down 5 threes. Now, credit to Andy Enfield and his coaching staff for kind of going to a little bit more of a man-to-man defense in that second half to take him out of it. But you get guys like that can shoot threes in this type of environment, and you've got a chance, if you're a lower seed, to pull off an upset of a higher seed in an event like this.
Yeah, well, I think of the Huskies, you think of Keon Brooks Jr., you think of Xavier Wheeler. You don't necessarily think of Mr. Wood. So that's that guy, DK, that third guy, fourth guy maybe on the roster who isn't the focal point of the defensive strategies. And if they get hot from the outside, not only did he make 5 threes, 5 for 7 in that game for Mr. Wood in that game, for Moses Wood. That's the way I saw it. I think the Huskies made 11 threes, and Mr. Enfield, Coach Enfield, decided, hey, we can't do this zone anymore. These guys are shot us out of it. Trojans made some big shots down the stretch. Obviously, Boogie Ellis came up with the big 25 points in that game, and it was really only in the last maybe 4 minutes that USC kind of took control, get out to that 6-point final margin of victory. But the Huskies looked like they might be the team that Arizona was facing there for a while. I don't know what you saw, but it seemed like USC was struggling a bit. Got the wherewithal to get it done at the end, though, and they pull off the win, move on to the next round.
Yeah, very even ball game when you look at the numbers. USC shot 50% in this game. Washington State 46%. Like I mentioned, both made right around 10 3-point shots. Neither one really shot great from the line in this game. Southern California missed 15 to 21. Washington 11 to 15. And the big, maybe if there's one thing that stands out, Washington was a little bit better in transition, scoring 18 points off turnovers to just 9 for USC. But at the end of the day, it was the Trojans who emerged. Boogie Ellis, who was, again, one of the stars of this league, and he had an outstanding ball game. 9 of 15. When I talk about shooting efficiency for a guard, those are the type of numbers that you like to hear. 15 shots make 9. More makes than you miss. 50% from three-point range. 3 assists he doled out as well in this ball game. Those are the type of numbers that I like to see from my guards in this type of setting. And then you got Isaiah Collier, the main point man, got you double figures, 4 of 6 shooting. So, again, very efficient shooting the basketball. Dished out 7 assists, as they had 19 assists in the ball game, did USC. That's the kind of shooting that I like to see from my guards in a setting like this, and USC showed that today. They're moving on again. 4 straight wins for the USC Trojans as they come into the game against the Wildcats. It's a scary proposition, but you got to go out and look. You're going to have to win tough games, and this is going to be a tough game for Arizona to win on Thursday.
And my biggest takeaway from Isaiah Collier, DK, was he wasn't forcing it. We talked about the USC zone a bit because Arizona just saw them. But, Mike Hopkins came over from Syracuse, and he runs that Boeheim zone, that matchup 2-3 style. Looks like Collier couldn't really get much going. Only 6 field goal attempts, DK, after taking 13 versus Arizona on Saturday. But you look at the 7 assist numbers, obviously 3 turnovers. Collier wasn't forcing anything. That's what I take away from his stat line, is he only took 6 shots from the field, but clearly was getting his teammates involved. And at this time of year, it's really about taking what the defense gives you. If you're a guy who's a natural scorer like Collier is, and especially a young player like that, only the freshman, you tend to maybe force a little things, try to force action. But only 6 shots there in a one-and-done scenario. Impressed with the young man being able to take what the defense gave him, gives out the 7 assists, and a big part in why the Trojans won that game today.
You mentioned Mike Hopkins coming over from Syracuse, longtime assistant under Jim Boeheim. Just as you've kind of watched this conference over the last 6 years or so, why don't you believe it worked for him in Seattle?
That's a long conversation, I think. But to me, I think the Huskies have had, number one, a lot of injury issues. I think it was maybe 2-3 years ago, they had a really nice roster that was derailed by some injuries. They've had, he won, 2 Coach of the Years in the conference, something like that. So it's not as if they haven't had success. We've always talked forever about that area, DK, producing some of the best high school talent in the country year in, year out. And if you're the head coach at Washington and you can't secure some of those guys from, Garfield and some of those high schools up there, you really need to keep some of that homegrown talent like, Yormark did back in the day. A lot of those guys they had on those teams, you think early 2000s, when Arizona and the Huskies had a lot of those battles, a lot of those guys were homegrown guys like Brandon Roy and so forth. So I'm not sure exactly what the issue is. I think that the expectations up there clearly are higher than his production has been these last few years. I don't know if style is an issue. I know that those fans are yearning for a little bit of high-octane, up-tempo type of basketball. Hopkins is a little bit more zone and slow it down. So I think all of those factors may have gone in, but it may have just been a difference of exactly where the direction of the program is going in general. They're going to a new conference. Whatever conversations were happening behind the scenes, clearly it wasn't something that happened this month, DK. There must have been some kind of ultimatum, and it's sad to see a guy like Coach Hopkins go, because I think he's a very, very good coach. Just obviously had some issues with injuries and whatnot along the way. Just didn't work out for him long term up there.
21-13 in his first season, 27-9 in his second
Cricket's
season,
here.
went 15-3 and won the Pac-12 conference regular season title. Went to the second round of the NCAA tournament, but then 15-7, 5-21, 7-15, 16-16, 17-14, and 118 and 105. The final, or actually with today's loss, so 106 will be the final margin for Mike Hopkins in his 7 seasons as the head coach of the Washington Huskies. And as J-Dub mentioned, moving on to the Big Ten Conference next year. All right, we've got a lot coming up for you today on the show. We're going to talk with Brian Jeffries straight ahead. He is the voice of the Arizona Wildcats. He is here. He was watching that first game out in the Arena Bowl. I saw head coach Coach Robinson from Arizona was out there. I would imagine he has the scout. He was the only one of the coaches that I saw in the building today. So Coach Rob will have the job of getting the Wildcats ready for this first Pac-12 tournament game tomorrow. We'll also hear from Gabe Oldham. Gabe Oldham from the Pima Aztecs. As the Aztecs won, we told you last Saturday night, they won the Division II Region 1 championship on the NJCAA side. They're headed to the national tournament. They'll be leaving on Friday, 2 days from now, and heading there for their first game that I believe is next Tuesday that they'll play. So we'll talk to Gabe Oldham from the Pima Aztecs as well today. We may have some guests that'll pop in here to our little cave as well. From various teams, hoping to maybe get some of the guys from around the Washington Huskies program that we were talking with to maybe come in and talk about the end of their season and what's next for them. Also, we'll hear from the USC Trojans as well as the Washington Huskies after this ball game today and get you set for tomorrow's game between the Wildcats and the Trojans. All right, do we have Cricket?
Mm-hmm.
Cricket is here
Hi.
with us, the third member of our program. As always. Okay, Cricket, so I've been gone for a week now.
It's been forever.
Yes. Did you guys break anything yet?
Not yet. not yet.
Not
but
yet.
There's still time.
Yeah.
Did you get kicked out of anywhere today?
No, actually I
Yay!
got kicked into a closet today.
Yeah, he was causing too much trouble out on the plaza,
Yeah,
so they just
exactly.
put him in a
So
closet
they
in the
put him
basement.
They put me in a closet now. So yeah, it's hey, I'm 2 feet from the interview room, which is a good thing, and I'm
Okay.
20 yards from the floor. So it's like I said, it's not very ambient, but we'll take what we can get in terms of this. So that's a positive from that
For sure.
standpoint. Yeah, but yeah, you guys still got a few days. Well, we'll see if the Wildcats. Well, if the Wildcats, I still won't be back there in with you until Monday. But you still got a few days to break dishes and throw things around and mess up the furniture if you feel so need. Just make sure that it's all cleaned up by the time that Big Brother gets back to town.
Okay, fair enough. We can do that.
Are you a good cleaner? Is that your thing? Do you like? Are you one of those people that is like ultra clean at home?
I can clean. I mean, of course, if I have to, but I like to use bleach like a lot. So
Ooh,
of course
really?
I couldn't use a lot of bleach in here. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Why are you a bleach person?
I think it's because of since working with the dogs at Pack, like I know something's clean. Like, of course, within reason, I would use bleach on just certain
You're
surfaces.
not trying to clean stuff. You're trying to kill everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Right. Like where I feel like, I learned a lot about bleach. And I think it smells good. It's clean. If you can smell bleach, it's either a crime scene or something's just super clean.
There you go. I hope your house is not a crime scene.
It is not. Nope. No.
All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together with collisions reported 22nd Street and Keno Parkway. Also dispatched Swan north of River Road, Ina and Shannon, some slowing on Ina at Shannon. And also clearing Colossal Cave Road at I-10, 29th and Craycroft, and also Houghton and Rita Road. 47 are low tonight, 69 tomorrow with a 20% chance of rain. Friday, a 55% chance. 74 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, they'll help you with any air conditioning, drain, or pipe issues. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected AC and plumbing experts anytime at coolwillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's coolwillies.com.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 200 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 200. LUMEdeodorant.com code 200 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com code 200.
Keep allergies at bay with our duct cleaning, aerosol duct sealing, and air purification services. Our family at Picture Rocks wants your family to breathe clean, healthy air.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing is sending DK and the pregame show to Las Vegas for the men's basketball tournament as they cheer on the Arizona Wildcats. Tune into pregame coverage right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness, but money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. Time for your Arizona Insiders.
Oh, sweet.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions of U of A basketball. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Arizona basketball. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
All right, let's chat with the voice of the Wildcats, Brian Jeffries. He is here in Las Vegas as well. Brian was out watching a little bit of that first game with the Washington Huskies and the Southern California Trojans. Brian, 80-74, USC gets the win coming off the game last Saturday in Los Angeles against USC. What have been your impressions the last two times you've had a chance to see these Trojans play? It's beginning to look like the team we thought it was going to be the entire season.
Well, they're healthy, and I think that's a big factor. It's a long team, and that's why they play such good defense, and they get enough offense out of their guards and wings that they've looked much better here the last, well, really couple of weeks. And so I think the other thing that, of course, affected Arizona was the zone defense that USC plays, and they slowed the game down. I thought today was a good example. When Washington was able to speed things up, the Huskies had the lead. When USC got in front, was able to spread the court, go to that zone, that slowed the Huskies down. And so that's going to be the Cats' biggest challenge tomorrow. Again, their zone offense against that USC zone defense. It was very effective on Saturday at Galen Center, and you know that Andy Enfield's going to probably put it in from the outset tomorrow.
Well, and early on, the kid from Washington, Moses Wood, was just unstoppable, knocking down threes. I was telling J-Dub, man, that's the kind of, one, if you want to beat the zone, that's what you need. You need that guy that can get hot from outside. And if you're defending a team like that, it's players like that really get me scared at this time of year. Guys that can just kind of, for lack of a better term, go on a bender and just start knocking down 5, 6, 7 3-pointers in a tournament setting to help a club win a game. How scary are guys like that? I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of them.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing about the three-point shot is that it can come and it can go. And so when you're hot like that, and if you're on the right team, that's a very dangerous weapon to have. And Boogie Ellis got going in the second half of today's game, and there's a guy that is fully capable of putting 5 or 6 threes on the board. And so you've got to, you've got to be conscious of that. You've got to know who the shooters are. And I think facing USC tomorrow, they got a couple of guys, and Ellis being number one there, that they just can't allow them open looks. And if they do that, if they play good perimeter defense, and that has not always been the Wildcats' strength this year, but if they can, then they can neutralize, I think, USC's strength, because the Trojans don't have a lot on the inside game, and offensively they don't get a lot, and defensively they're very foul prone. And so if it's a perimeter game, and if USC is successful in that area, that can be to their advantage, and that's what the Wildcats have to take away.
Well, and that was one of the things, Brian, when we talked about after the game, we thought that, and Kelvin thought especially, that the Wildcats should have pounded the ball inside more in that game in Los Angeles. I mean, more Ballo, more key shot, more Krivas, because that seemed to be working early.
Well, it is, but you also have to give the other team credit. And did they allow that to happen? I think the zone, one thing about the zone, if it's played properly, and I think USC played it properly, is that they'll deny those entry passes. Now, there's ways around that, but Arizona was not able to take advantage of it on Saturday. So that's one thing that they've got to change up. Yeah, they do want to get the ball inside. That was the game plan from the get-go, and it will be again tomorrow, because that's where Arizona does most of its damage in the paint. But you got to get the ball to those big guys. And so I think one thing that the Wildcats probably would like to do better tomorrow, and that's, they'd like to drive the ball. They'd like to be a little more aggressive with their guards. Don't just, take a three if you have an opening. If you have an opening, that's one thing. But, try and drive the ball inside, because good things can happen. You can get fouled. You can dump it off to one of those big guys. I think they'll change things up a little bit. At least from what I've seen, and the teams are about to get on the bus here to go to practice and see what the game plan is. But I think they're going to change up a little bit from what they did on Saturday in terms of how they want to attack that zone.
So now where are they working? They're working out, I would imagine, maybe at a high school here in town or something of that nature?
Yes, there's several high schools here that are designated as practice sites for the different teams on game days because T-Mobile is obviously in use all day. The team did go to T-Mobile last night and got some shots in. The only other opportunity was very early this morning. They had a 30-minute window there, but instead of that, they decided to practice last night at T-Mobile just to kind of get your footing for the guys that haven't been in that arena before. And then today they're at a high school, and tomorrow morning they have that option again if they want to go over to T-Mobile and take some shots. And I think Tommy will probably make that decision here tonight.
Brian Jeffries joining us, the voice of the Arizona Wildcats. Brian, when you look at, obviously, Boogie Ellis got hot today with 25 points, made 5 threes, did not get hot in that game on Saturday. Did you notice anything defensively that the Wildcats were doing in that game Saturday that kind of took him out of his rhythm?
Oh, I don't know. I just think you could say the same thing about Caleb Love. I think those two guys just had off games, and that's all there is to it. And for Boogie, maybe it was senioritis on his last day at Galen Center. Caleb, missed a couple early shots, and things just weren't falling. And that, to me, that was probably one of the interesting storylines of the game on Saturday is the two leading scorers. Neither of them had much of an impact on the game, both of them well under their average. And so I don't think that was necessarily anything that Arizona did great defensively. You could say the same thing about USC. I mean, trying to stop Caleb Love, you knew that was going to be one of their focal points, but shots weren't falling, and that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that, again, that's the other thing I think when you look about what concerns you. I think for me, it's that you'll get some guys that get into shooting slumps in a situation like that. You hope that doesn't happen at this time of year, but it can, and then that's when teams maybe on the lower end can creep up and beat a team like Arizona. We had a very interesting conversation on Saturday during the pregame show just about what the value of the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And the point that I brought to the table was that I didn't think, again, you've never won. I mean, you how many times? I think that J-Dub said Arizona's been a number 1 seed maybe 11 to 13 times. You've never won a national championship as a number 1 seed. So does that really matter? What's the value of that? How much does it mean to be a number 1 seed? Where do you come in on that about the importance of whether it's better to be a number 1 to number 2? I know our guy Doug in Tucson pointed out that 40% of the number 1s get to the Final Four and only 20% of the number 2s get to the Final Four. What's kind of your feeling on whether it matters or how much it matters to be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think a couple things. It matters depending on your location. I think that's one thing. Now, since they've gone to the pod system, that's changed up a little bit. But being able to play closer to home, I think, is important. And your matchups. I mean, all you have to do is look at Arizona last year. They didn't match up well with Princeton, and we know what the result was. And now you have no control over that. The higher seed you are, hopefully you're getting a team that you are far superior from. But, hey, Purdue lost last year. Arizona lost last year. I mean, teams with high seeds go down year in and year out. I mean, that's part of the beauty of the NCAA tournament. So, I think there is value. I think you want to be a top 4 seed. I think that is the number 1 thing because it improves that first round matchup for you. It probably keeps you closer to home. And, Arizona right now is projected as a 2 in the West, and they'll take it. I mean, if they can play in Salt Lake City next week and be a 2 seed in the West, I think some people have looked beyond that and said, okay, well, then who's number 1? Who would you face in that regional final if you got to that point? And, that's always something that you can, spend too much time worrying about because you would love to get to the regional final, right? I mean, then it really doesn't matter. To me, once you get into this tournament, David, and I've been around it long enough, the seeding to me is secondary to the fact, are you prepared to play?
Right.
Do you understand that it's win or go home? Do you have supreme effort every time out? If you're well coached and you follow the game plan, you're going to do very well. And I think that to me is more important than exactly where you're seated. And like I said, being closer to home is certainly a help. But Arizona got a championship when they went through a couple southern cities and ended up in Indianapolis. And so you never know. A lot of it is luck. And, Lute Olson used to talk about that. He said, yeah, you got to be good, but you got to be lucky. And a lot of that comes down to your draw and who do you end up matched up with in your region.
All right, Brian Jeffries. He is the voice of the Wildcats. It's Ryan on the call with you this weekend?
No, Reggie is here somewhere in Las Vegas.
Okay.
I'm searching for him right now. I'm still searching. I'll find him.
The craps
By
table,
tomorrow.
maybe, or a good restaurant. Which one would you be likely to find Reggie at?
Well, I'm going at the latter just to be safe.
Okay, a good restaurant. There you go.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten over
All right.
Ferraro's yet this week, but hopefully we can make that happen before Saturday night.
All right. Well, you won't be disappointed.
All right, Brian, I appreciate you as always. Have a great call tomorrow.
All right. We'll see you. Thanks.
Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Arizona Wildcats. He'll be on the call with Reggie Geary this week here in Las Vegas at the Pac-12 tournament. Arizona, Southern California. It'll be the game tomorrow, the first game of the day. It'll start at noon, and we will have coverage beginning at 8 a.m. with the Meridian Wealth Management countdown to tip-off show, so join us for that. The second game of today is nearing the end of the first half, and that is UCLA against Oregon State. This is the 5-12 game today, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the 5-12 game, and the UCLA Bruins are the 5 seed. They lead that game with about 2 minutes to go in the first half by a score of 30-22. We'll keep you up to date on that contest as well. Adem Bona with 11 points early in that contest. He is 5 for 5 from the line, and Dylan Andrews has 10 for the Bruins. So those two players, Dylan Andrews and Adem Bona, have scored 21 of UCLA's 30 points so far in the first half of that game against the 12-seed Beavers. All right, much more coming up for you. We're going to let you hear from the USC Trojans, some of the highlights from the game, as well as what they had to say. Had a chance to ask a few questions in the postgame media briefing to Andy Enfield, as well as Kobe Johnson, as well as Boogie Ellis. Asked Boogie Ellis about how he feels about going up against the Pac-12 Player of the Year in Caleb Love. You'll hear what he has to say. All that straight ahead. Cricket, though, gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. With a collision reported in Green Valley on Mission near Helmet Peak on Mission, north of Helmet Peak. Broadway and Euclid collision involving a bus at Euclid and Broadway. Los Reales and Nogales Highway, the site for road work and a reported collision. Vehicle fire on Shannon near McGee. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic.
This report is sponsored by KFC. KFC's new smashed potato bowl is here. Fries, mashed potatoes, cheese, and bacon come together to make a smashable snack that's only $3.49. It's finger-licking good.
Celebrate Easter at the Park Place Mall with fun for the entire family, including the four-legged members. Get your photo with the Easter Bunny. Join in the mall-wide Easter egg hunt all month long. And don't miss the doggy Easter egg hunt during Yappy Hour, March 28th. Learn more at parkplacemall.com.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill.
2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Southern Arizona Radiology Associates have been dedicated to providing superior images and quality care for the last 35 years. They're the one you trust when you need an X-ray, CT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI. They have locations in Tucson, Green Valley, and Sierra Vista. Ask your doctor to refer you to Southern Arizona Radiology Associates today. That's Southern Arizona Radiology Associates. Visit their website at sararadiology.com or call 520-335-6849 for more information.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is cooler here, and so pests are seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? University Termite and Pest Control has been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control for the past 50 years. You can too. University Termite and Pest Control. Find us online at bepestfree.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join our growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a...
$12.90, 520-848, $12.90 is the number to get in on the program. We're pleased to be joined here now by Kim Granols. He writes for dogman.com. That is the 24/7 outlet for the University of Washington, and he joins us now here in my closet here in the bowels of the T-Mobile Arena.
I wouldn't call it the closet. I would call it the room next to the bathroom.
Exactly. There you go. There you go. The room next to the bathroom. But, hey, at least we're in the building. We're not in the hotel, and we've got access to some great guests. And first of all, Kim, tough day for this program, into the season, into the era for Mike Hopkins. You were just playing me a little bit of what he had to say there. Very emotional in that press conference as he says goodbye to this university.
You know, you've been around this long enough that there's guys that you care about, and there's good guys and mediocre guys and bad guys. And Mike Hopkins is truly one of the good guys. Anybody who's been around him, they love the guy. He's so full of passion and energy. He was an assistant coach under Jim Boeheim at Syracuse for 20-plus years. He was a player at Syracuse, and you know, he was the heir apparent at Syracuse and was going to take over for Boeheim, and when he announced his retirement, and then Boeheim changed his mind.
Right, exactly.
He changed his mind. And Jen Cohen, the athletic director at University of Washington at that time, who's now moved on to USC, which was kind of ironic to see Jen Cohen here today. Jen took a chance on him, and, you know, I talked to him post-game, and he had a 7-year run. He made $20 million.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, would you take that gig?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll just never forget Jen Cohen telling me during the interview, she brought him in as she's interviewing him, and he's such a hyped up, wound up guy. He got down and started doing push-ups during the interview.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's like I said, I think at times Mike Hopkins has lost his mind, and I hope he never ever finds it.
So what happened? Why don't you think this worked for him in Seattle?
Well, I mean, the first 2 years he was,
Coach of the year.
Coach of the year
right.
in the conference, and just went through some bad luck where he had a big time guard in Quade Green who was going to come in and run points, and after about 8 games, they got off to a torrid start, and after about 8 games, Quade got declared academically ineligible. I wonder if that would happen at a school like Alabama, by the way. But the season went to heck, and then the COVID thing went bad, and then, this year, he's had some really good players. Jaden McDaniels and Isaiah Stewart were, first-round draft picks, but they were carrying the team as freshmen. And it just makes it kind of hard with the amount of turnover they had. And then going into this year, Hop had 2 years remaining on his contract. And lots of rumors that he should have been go a year ago, which makes it tough to recruit. So he had to go to the transfer portal and bring in guys. And, like Keon Brooks, his first team, he just said, it's tough when you get guys. It's the first time you've played with. It takes a while to build that continuity. And, with Jen Cohen leaving to USC, who hired him, the new athletic director coming in, you just knew that there was going to be a change, and Troy Dannon, the new athletic director who came to Washington from Tulane, was going to want to have his own guy. And like I said, we've been doing this long enough. We're on our 9th football coach, and
wow.
I'm sure going to want to ask me about that. But we've been through 9 football coaches. Some have left, some have been fired, and we've seen so many coaching changes, and what makes this one so difficult is if you ever get a chance to talk to Mike Hopkins, just talk to him. He's a salt of the earth guy. Everybody loves him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we were saying. He's a very likable coach, and you want to see guys like that succeed, and it's just unfortunate that it didn't succeed for him in Seattle. Kim Grinnell's joining us, dogman.com. You mentioned some of those guys. Severe Wheeler, as good of an assist man as you're going to find in this conference this year. What's the outlook for him?
Well, he's out of eligibility. He came, this is his 3rd school. He started at Georgia, then went to Kentucky, and then came here to Washington. And as you can see, when he drives to the basket, he's as fast with the ball as anybody in the country. And he can really break down a defense. But the thing that, he did this year, which drove people nuts back at Kentucky, he's not a very good shooter. He's not a very good free throw shooter. And, and when you're at Kentucky, it's not what you've done, it's what you haven't done. And I think they kind of drove him out of there. But he played a year with Keon Brooks, because Keon Brooks has been at Washington a couple of years, and he came from Kentucky. So I think that the plan was to have those two really, really drive things. But the thing that killed Washington, absolutely killed him, Frank Kepnong, who was an all-defensive league player.
Right.
After about the 5th game of the season, he was out for the year, and he was your defensive stopper, your rim protector. And then Wesley Yates, the freshman coming in from Texas, I had guys telling me Wesley's the best player on the team. I said, better than Keon Brooks? And they're going, yeah. So you take that loss, but every year it's just been something. It's been injuries, losing guys, the COVID. So, like I said, it just all adds up. And when the arena's dead and there's not the interest and you're not winning, and it's all about wins. It's just a little bit tougher to let a good guy go.
So Troy Dannon, the most popular man in Tucson. Before we get to him being the most popular man in Tucson, where do you think he'll go with this basketball thing? Would any indication from him what he's looking for?
Are you talking about
for basketball? Yeah,
Mike Hopkins, or where Troy Hopkins?
Where Troy Dannon will go as for his coach?
Well, everybody's saying that it's going to be Danny Sprinkle, the coach from Utah State. He's originally from Washington, the other side of the state. He was born in Pullman. He was at Montana State, did a good job there. Got hired at Utah State, has done a great job there. So everybody's talking about him being the next guy. That's the odds-on favorite. You're hearing the Dave. I think it's Dave Pasternak from Santa Barbara's names come up. The name that I think Husky fans would love to get is former assistant coach who was at Washington for a while, T.J. Otzelberger.
Right. Well, Pasternak was an assistant at U of A. Under Sean Miller.
Yeah, so that's a name. And then, like I said, T.J. Otzelberger. I don't know that they could get a guy like T.J. Otzelberger, but, Troy has said before that he's not into hiring assistant coaches, that he wants to get a guy who's run an established program, and he'd be more apt to run somebody from a mid-major, and that sure sounds like Danny Sprinkle, doesn't it?
Indeed, indeed. Ken Grinalds from Dogman.com is our guest, covers the Washington Huskies. All right, Troy Dannon came down to Tucson, and they put out a video of him signing Jed Fish in Jed's house, and that did not go over well with our fan base. But what I told people is like, look, that's what it is now. I mean, making videos and social media. I mean, if you're going to how are you going to get mad over that? Because every team is doing that.
Well, Jan Cohen did the same thing to Kalen DeBoer at Fresno.
Right.
They had the video going into the house, signing the papers. They did the same thing.
Right.
And, when you're a program like Arizona or Washington got poached by a better program. And, I know Arizona fans won't like this, but Washington's a better football program than Arizona. And if your coach there has success, it's going to be tough to keep him, especially, when we saw what was going on where Washington offered him a 7-year contract and the Board of Regents at Arizona would not go over a 5-year contract. What would you have done? What would you have done?
I would take the money.
Yeah. I mean, I understand how fans think, but you have those two offers in front of you.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And the big thing also in addition was Washington offered him a huge pool for his assistants. And any head coach worth his salt, it's all about his assistants, and they take, and that's what Mike Hopkins was talking about. He was really concerned about what his assistant coaches are going to be doing, more so than himself, because he's going to be fine. And I'm sure that was a big thing with Jed Fish, worrying about his assistants, and he's going to be able to take care of them. And I don't think he told them how much real estate prices were in Seattle.
That's why he needed a big pool, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So how's he going there so far?
We haven't had a lot of interaction, to be honest. I mean, it's just kind of like in the motion of show me. I think the biggest thing is I think they've only got 70 players on scholarship right now. They're really low. They're going to have to hit the transfer portal specifically with the offensive line. So, the transfer portal, demolished Washington and guys going pro. They lost Troy Fautanu, who's going to be a first-round draft pick. He was your starting left tackle. Roger Rosengarten, who protected Michael Penix's blind side on the right side, he declared for the draft. And then you had the rest of the offensive line. There's not one returning starter on Washington's offense for Jed Fish. Well, not one.
Yeah.
Not one.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. But, we'll see. I mean, he's got his work cut out for him. But, 7-year contract, 7.7. And he's also – and, we talked earlier, about people saying, well, if he gets offered by by Florida, he's gone. Well, one thing Troy Dannon did correct, because Kalen DeBoer's contract was a $12 million buyout by Alabama. So is Jed Fish. If Jed Fish leaves after a year, it's $12 million.
Wow.
I think it's $9 million on year 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot, but there'll be somebody out there that can pay it. That's for sure. Obviously, we had a young man from down in Tucson that got a hard luck deal. Mateo Mele, offensive lineman, who worked so hard to get into that starting role as a senior and then suffered the injury early in the season this past year. I don't know if you had any interaction with him or what your takeaways were.
He's from Sohora?
South Point Catholic.
Oh, okay. Great
Catholic,
kid. And, he was another guy. Washington won the Moore Trophy as the best offensive line in the country, and Mateo Mele was a big part of that. He played a lot of positions along the offensive line, and he's a big dude, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was bigger than Washington's typical center. He's 6'5" and about 320 and really athletic. Washington, with Coach Scott Huff, wants their centers to pull, but when Mateo went down, it gave the chance for an undersized center as a redshirt freshman, and Parker Brailsford, who's 6'2", 270 pounds. Parker was second team all Pac-10, all Pac-12 at 270 pounds. And against Texas, Devontae Sweat, 370 pounds. He held his own.
Right.
Did you imagine playing center giving up 100 pounds?
No, that's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Michael Penix, you think he can play at the NFL level?
Absolutely. You know, Michael said it the best. He just wins everywhere he's gone. 2 years there dealing with Michael, I always say there's a difference. I've seen a lot of talented players, and I say there's a difference between somebody who's talented and somebody who's gifted. Michael's gifted. And there's a difference. And I'm sure you've seen players like that just are gifted and they're special. Michael has something about him. He's come through adversity. He's been through tough times. He's a winner. And boy, the way he throws the football. I mean, have you seen it? I mean, it's It's
nice.
It's
Great
something
ball.
else. And the injury thing. I mean, I've got videos of him after the Michigan game. He was beat up pretty bad.
Yeah.
And he was beat up bad, really bad. He was barely walking after that game. So he's a tough kid too.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fun to watch him kind of make that jump to the next level and see what he can do in the National Football League. Just in terms of this university and going to the Big Ten, is there excitement in Seattle about that? What's kind of the feeling?
Well, I was kind of joking. We no longer get to go to the Bay Area. We no longer get to go to the desert. So we're trading the sunshine for Iowa City, East Lansing, State College. And somebody said, these road trips into the Big Ten, they're going to be really fun. Once. Once. But stop and think about. You've been around. Look at the cities that you get to go to up and down the West Coast. You get to go to L.A., San Francisco, Seattle.
Right. Yeah.
You get to go to Phoenix. You get to go to Boulder.
Right.
You get to go to Salt Lake City. Those are all great road trips.
Right. Absolutely.
Give me a good road trip in the
in the Big Ten.
Give me one. Give me one.
Well, I'm from Ohio, so I'll say Columbus.
Been there. Jack Nicklaus Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
In Columbus.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Absolutely. That would be, I think, maybe the only one that really jumps out to me. Maybe Minneapolis. That's that's always a fun town to go to.
Oh, the first thing I did when I looked at the schedule is I looked at those November road games. Iowa City.
You want to go there in October, but maybe not November. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't do well. I'm on the sidelines. I don't do well in the cold.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Kim, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Continued success. We'll be kind of keeping an eye on what Jed Fish is doing up there. Coming away from Arizona.
Your head football coach was a Washington guy. He was in Washington for a while.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, Brent Brennan?
Yeah, he was in Washington for a while.
Absolutely.
Good dude.
He is.
You got a good one.
We're enjoying him so far. He's got that hometown feel to him, a Dick Tomey guy, and we're hoping to bring back some of those traditions of good defense as well. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. Kim, thanks so much.
Good. We'll cross paths again, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Kim Grinolds from dogman.com.
Next year?
Yeah.
Instead of Vegas?
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Well, Kansas. Well, we just we're getting ready to talk about Brett Yormark coming out today and saying Kansas City is the place for the Big 12, which is disappointing a lot of folks in our community because this has become kind of the go-to spot for University of Arizona fans. So I don't think we're looking forward to going to Kansas City.
Barbecue.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I said. I said that's the one benefit. The one benefit is good barbecue. Good barbecue. Kim, thanks. We're coming back with much more in the next hour. You're listening to DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290.
man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Coming to you live from the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the Pac-12 men's basketball tournament. It is first round day. Southern California, the Trojans knocked off the Washington Huskies in the opener, 80-74. And they will face the Wildcats tomorrow in the first quarterfinal game. Boogie Ellis, 25 points for USC. Kobe Johnson scored 14, 6 of 16 shooting, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Isaiah Collier had 13 points on 4 of 6 from the floor, 7 assists. And the Trojans have won 4 games in a row. They're moving on. Bronny James off the bench, played 18 minutes, scored 7 points on 5 of 5 from the line, also had 5 rebounds, did not see LeBron in the house. This is obviously a much different venue. There are suites here, so potentially he might have been up in a suite. Did not notice if he was sitting courtside or not. Did you, J-Dub, see them? Did they show LeBron at all in any of the portions of the game you were watching?
I know they're playing the Kings tonight at 7, so I don't think he usually goes to the games on game days. But I'm sure they play tonight. The Lakers play the Kings, and then they don't play again until the Warriors. So maybe we'll see him tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we might see him here for the Wildcats and Trojans tomorrow. That'll be very interesting. All right, 80-74 again was the final. We want you to hear from the Trojans after the game. What they had to say, got in a few questions as well. It was Andy Enfield along with Boogie Ellis and Kobe Johnson speaking after the ball game.
Coach Andy Enfield, Boogie Ellis, and Kobe Johnson here. Coach, we'll go ahead and have you give an opening statement, then we'll open up to questions. Make sure to raise your hands for questions, please. Thanks.
It was a tough game. And Washington played very well offensively, made a lot of threes, first half especially. We're fortunate to be able to come back in the second half twice when they kept taking the lead. And so I give our players a lot of credit. They battled the entire second half when they were down numerous times and found a way to win. So very proud of our team, and we'll move on.
All right. Anybody have a question, raise your hand, and we'll bring a microphone over to you. Start over here in the front row on the right.
Andy, what you changed from zone to man in the second half, was that in part because of how Wood was shooting from the outside?
Well, we started out the game at man, and they were making threes, getting transition, and then we just slowed them down with our zone. Our zone was great in the first half. We probably got 9 out of 10 stops, and then we took a 4-point lead, and they went on a flurry because we turned the ball over on an out-of-bounds play, and they hit a 3 in transition, and another 3. Wood hit 3 straight on us, and then I think Brooks or somebody hit the 4th, and then Wood hit the one desperation one at the end of the. So we went man most of the second half. We mixed our zone in very briefly, but we just had to guard them. It was frustrating because they're really talented offensively. Wheeler is so quick. He's probably the quickest guy in the country with the ball in his hands. It's really hard to guard. And then you have Keon Brooks, who leads the league in scoring, and those guys. And then Wood puts a lot of pressure on you from the three-point line. And Corin Johnson's been playing great. He had 26, 21 last couple games. So their one-on-one play is very, very hard to guard. And so that's why we try to mix up our man and zone. In the second half, we just had to guard a man. And if we wanted to win the game, we had to do a better job, which we did.
Right here in the front.
Andy, it looked like you were kind of staggering Isaiah Collier and Bronny in the closing minutes there. You know, Isaiah maybe for offense and Bronny for defensive situations. Is that kind of an alignment you feel comfortable with, you know, in the closing stretches of games?
Sometimes we alternate offense, defense, and then we kept Isaiah in for defense. But also when we're shooting free throws, it gives us a chance to set our defense. We make a substitution, and so part of it was that. Part of it was just staggering the guys. And Bronny did a great job of making 5 straight free throws. And Isaiah made 2 big free throws with about a minute and a half left.
And if I can add again, Boogie, you said, I think, on the Pac-12 network, you know, you told your guys coming out just at halftime, you know, you had 20 minutes left, basically, and you didn't want this season to be over. You know, what was just that message to them and to the group, you know, you being a senior and not wanting to go out in this tournament?
Yeah, definitely. I told the guys we only had 20 minutes guaranteed. So, you know, just to come out with urgency in the first half, Coach, you know, told us that we were kind of, you know, lackadaisical a little bit. But, you know, we fixed it in the second half. But tomorrow we can't come out like that. We got to come out with a lot more energy.
Over here, second row, Bruce.
Andy, and for you two players too. Also, do you guys feel in general that you're playing as well as you can at this point? I mean, you've had a lot of injuries and things going on this season. Is this kind of the SC team that maybe you expected?
Yeah, we've made a lot of improvements this year. Our team has improved defensively and offensively, and we felt great early January when we had Boogie hurt his hamstring, Isaiah broke his hand, and Josh got sick and lost 15 pounds. We lost 3 guys at the same time, and then when you play without your 2 leading scorers, who happen to be your 2 playmakers, it became very challenging. We didn't even score 70 points for 6 great games and lost 6 in a row. So when they got back healthy, they've been impressive because they have improved quickly. And we are playing well. We just thought we'd play a little better in January and early February, but we didn't anticipate those injuries. So now this is a team we thought we'd have, and we're playing well. I think we won 5 out of 6. We lost 2 close games in the last in the game at Washington State, where we led for 36, 37 minutes. So our team is playing better, much better, and we've seen a lot of growth. Isaiah Collier at the point guard position has shown tremendous growth. Bronny James, our young players, Vince, who missed 2 off seasons, he's really improved, and then the upperclassmen like Kobe and Boogie have really stepped up, and DJ Rodman, and so I think we're in a good place as a team. Really proud of our guys. This is a much better basketball team than we started the season, and also throughout the year, and they've improved dramatically on both sides of the ball.
Back of the room.
David Kelly from Wildcats Radio 1290 for Coach and the players. Just what did you guys like about the way you defended Arizona last Saturday that you think can carry over to the game on Thursday?
I think our physicality. I think we came out into that game very physical with them, and we matched their pressure. So I think we got to come out and just apply the pressure and the physicality to them right away, because I felt like last game we did a perfect job of shutting down their best players with physicality. So as long as we do that, I think we'll be in a good spot again.
I'm sorry?
What you like about the way you guys defended them last time around?
Well, we had great energy. It was our home court. It was senior day, and I thought our players played with tremendous energy the whole game. And we were flying around on our zone and our man defense, and we rebounded the ball. And Arizona's extremely hard to guard. Anytime you have a guy that's 7 feet, 260 pounds, as mobile as Ballo is in the middle, and he just creates so many mismatches, and then they have great guards as well and forwards. So I think it should be a great game tomorrow, but we just have to play with tremendous energy like we did on Saturday.
Second row here.
Boogie, you had 27 on this stage 2 years ago and 25 again tonight. Just what about this stage kind of gets you going, makes you feel comfortable?
Yeah, definitely. It's win or go home, so I'm trying to just do whatever it takes to help my team win.
Kim in the middle.
Coach, you were able to hold Keon Brooks for 16 from the field, 1 of 8, and he's one of the best players in the conference. I know he's focused on the scout all the time. What'd you do with Keon to hold him down?
Well, we tried to give extra help with him, challenge everything at the rim, and he made that 1-3 in the first half where Kobe was kind of there, but he didn't really challenge it. That was his 1-3 he made, but I thought with a guy like that, you just have to try to challenge every shot he takes. He's really, really talented. And give Kobe and Boogie and Kobe both had 3 steals tonight. We got a lot of deflections, and then I thought DJ Rodman did a really good job one-on-one with him.
Here in the front.
Kobe, what has been the evolution of this team in crunch time? Limiting those mistakes where you guys kind of beat yourselves, and particularly with Isaiah running the point and his development there is a guy you guys feel comfortable with closing games with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, of course. We know who to get the ball to at the end of the games, either Boogie or Zay. So, I mean, at the earlier in the season, he made freshman mistakes like we expected it, but throughout the course of this season, he's really locked in. When we got the ball and with the league, he's learned how to win games for us, and I think having him being able to develop that leadership as a freshman is going to be very key to us being successful here in this little run.
Far right.
Ben Barker, CardinalSports.com. Just the players, what was kind of the message from Coach at halftime? You guys are down by 5. Moses Wood hit that huge 3. Just what was kind of the message to kind of reverse momentum and get things going in your favor at the break?
Yeah, definitely. Coach was emphasizing us. We had a couple plays where we were walking around lackadaisical. So he said, you just got to lock in on defense and come out with a lot more energy. So that was the thing. We knew if we played with energy and we had a toughness that we would come out with the win.
Back of the room.
Boogie, what was your takeaways from your first matchup? You missed obviously the first game in Tucson, but getting a chance to play against Caleb Love last Saturday, and what excites you about the chance to play against the Pac-12 Player of the Year?
Just, you know, I'm just here, you know, just trying to get a win. I don't really care about none of that stuff. I just, you know, care about winning.
One more here in the front.
Boogie, you struggled to score, whatever it was, Saturday, I guess, against Arizona, and today you were very hot. What was the difference? What changed for you?
Just made shots.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, I mean, that's like what Kevin Durant. I've often quoted Kevin Durant in terms of the difference in some of these games is we just made more shots than they did. Boogie just made shots today. He didn't make shots in that game on Saturday at the Galen Center against the Wildcats. J-Dub, he didn't want anything to do with me trying to get a comment on him about Caleb Love. I was hoping he would maybe go in, but he didn't take the bait on that one at all. He's a pretty smart kid.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think especially this time of year, most players, I think, avoid giving bulletin board material to begin with, so I don't take it as disrespectful for the – I'm sure he has an opinion about that question, DK. I just think in a public setting, probably not going to come out as an upperclassman and give any kind of extra fuel to a guy who just won the MVP of the league and is, you know, one of the best players in the country and didn't have his best game last time out against the Trojans.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Boogie in that game really struggled on Saturday, went just 1 for 8 from the field, just went 1 for 5 from 3, only 5 points. And neither one of those two players played very well, as Brian Jeffries pointed out in that game on Saturday. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how they bounce back in this game coming up for you tomorrow, which will start here in Las Vegas at noon. All right, 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. You can visit any of our social media platforms. We've got some pictures posted of U of A fans already here at the games. I'm hashtagging it McHale North, so look for the hashtag McHale North. And if you're in the area, I'll take, if you see me, ask me, I'll take your picture and we'll put it out there. Got some good, couple of good shots of different couples that have come down here to watch the Arizona Wildcats in this final attempt to win the Pac-12 tournament here in Las Vegas. First time I've been to this venue in terms of seeing an event here. I've not been to a hockey game, have not been to any previous Pac-12 men's basketball tournaments here at this venue. It's a pretty nice facility, JW. At least the exterior part reminds me a lot of the facility at Sacramento last year where we went to, where the Wildcats lost in the first round.
The beam?
Yeah, the beam. I don't think they shine well. That would actually work really good here in Las Vegas, considering. But they already have a beam down at the Luxor, so maybe one too many beams is not good for the, what do you call it? The light pollution. Is that what you call it?
That's not what I call it. That term was coined 100 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for city lights put up light pollution so that sky gazers who want to put their telescopes up and look at faraway galaxies have a harder time the more light there is nearby. So that's what that's all about. Don't look now, but UCLA just had a 16-point lead on the Beavers, and the Beavers came storming back to make it a 7-point game. Beavers just gave up a 3, though, so now it's a 10-point lead again, 46-36.
Oh, wow. It's that time of year, folks. It's that time of year where anything can happen in college basketball. That's why we call it March.
42-27, DK. 42-27 in the second half. Very, very low-scoring game, and I looked up and I thought, okay, well, UCLA is going to advance, and next time I look up, it's 37-42. So they'd come all the way back to cut it to 7. But it looks like the Bruins are still in control of that game.
Yeah, they're back up, I think, by 10 now. Dylan Andrews, 20 points. He's hit 4 threes in that ball game. Winner of this game right now advances to play Colorado. That'll be the second game of the day tomorrow in the after what they term the afternoon session here in Las Vegas. All right. When we come back, we're going to chat with Gabe Oldham. He is one of the players with the Pima Aztecs men's basketball team. They are heading to the national tournament in, I believe, Danville, Illinois is where they play that. Yes, Danville, Illinois. That'll be next week. Actually, they'll leave Friday and begin play there next week. We'll talk to Gabe about his Aztecs and where they have come from this season to get back to the national tournament. It's Big DK on the Sports Tip with JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Slowdowns on the westbound side of I-10 approaching Ruthroff. More slowing on westbound I-10 between Valencia and Irvington Palo Verde. Collisions at Oracle, north of Rancho Vistoso, 5th Street near Craycroft, Swan and 22nd Street. 22nd Street and Keno Parkway, Ina and Shannon clearing with some westbound slowing, and final clearing stages Wentworth Road south of I-10. 47 the low, 69 with a 20% chance of rain tomorrow, and Friday a 55% chance of rain. 74 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by NexGuard Plus. NexGuard Plus, a Foxalon or Moxidectin and Pyrantel chewable tablets, is the one you want for your dog's monthly protection.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
This just in, Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
Elevate your outdoor living space this year using stone. Tanzite has developed stone decking, crafted without any plastic composite materials to redefine durability. Visit tanzite.com to see how stone decking doesn't scratch, stays cooler, isn't slippery, and has all the durability you would expect from stone, which is why it's guaranteed for life. At tanzite.com, you will see how we develop stone to easily transform any ordinary wood deck. You can even make your deck waterproof for a dry space below. Versatile and adaptable, Tanzite is perfect for decks, stairs, over concrete, or ground applications. Visit tanzite.com to start planning your project with a free 3D design and construction plan tailored to your space. Order a sample today to witness the incredible beauty and durability firsthand at tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
Keep allergies at bay with our duct cleaning, aerosol duct sealing, and air purification services. Our family at Picture Rocks wants your family to breathe clean, healthy air.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing is sending DK and the pregame show to Las Vegas for the men's basketball tournament as they cheer on the Arizona Wildcats. Tune into pregame coverage right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. I knew we could not put off getting life insurance. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050 or go to SelectQuote.com now. That's 1-800-452-5050. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Coming to you live from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas at the Pac-12 tournament. Arizona will take on Southern California tomorrow in a game that'll tip off at noon. That's on the NCAA Division I side, but there's also big basketball happening on the NJCAA side for your Pima Aztecs, who are headed to the national tournament in Danville, Illinois, this week to play next week. And we're pleased to be joined by freshman forward Gabe Oldham, who joins the program out of Spanish Fork, Utah. 6'8", 230 pounds. Gabe this year averaged 14 points per ball game. And first of all, Gabe, congratulations on the winning the Division II Region 1 championship. Take me back to Saturday night and I talked to head coach Brian Peabody after the game, a much different game maybe than you guys are used to normally playing, because you guys are scoring in the hundreds pretty much every time out. But what was cool about the way you guys navigated to win a lower scoring game on Saturday?
Yeah, that was a change up for us for sure. I think going into that game, it was a lot more defensive focused than offense, which, was weird for us because, usually we're just pushing that score up all the way to the hundreds. Coach Peabody always says race to 100. So first team to get to 100 wins. So, scoring only 64 points, in a game was really weird for us. But I think the way we navigated was really good. I think through the film sessions, the coaching staff took us through about the game plan, but also showed to us our weaknesses, especially with it being defense. And I think we executed it defensively pretty well. Definitely had a lot of hiccups offensively, but I was really happy with how we performed in that game defensively.
Gabe, I've joked with Coach Peabody a number of times. You guys obviously beat Chandler Gilbert in that title game. There was a game you played them at home earlier this year. I don't know if you remember this, where he took like 4 timeouts in the first 4 minutes of the game. You remember that?
Oh, of course.
What were you guys thinking that night where you're like, A minute into the game, he takes a timeout. Then he takes another timeout. I mean, he just kept taking timeouts. What were you guys thinking when he just kept taking timeouts in that 4-minute stretch?
I mean, I think it's just, in reality, everyone has what they want to say about coaching, when you take your timeouts, all that. But I think in that moment for us, we're all just kind of realizing, like, we really got to put our heads on straight and come to play, like, especially against good teams. You can't expect to come out in the second half and play well and then still to win. You got to, off the bat, you need to be able to play well and to, for us at least, to run up the score.
And that's not the first time I've seen him do something like that. Maybe not that extreme, but I've seen him take multiple timeouts like that back to back, and it usually has to do with defense. And you mentioned obviously his one of his main philosophies is first team to 100 points wins. But how would you categorize Brian Peabody's defensive philosophy and what he wants you to do in those instances to make sure, you can get to 100 points, but here's how we need to keep the other team below us so we can win games?
I would say just that, we focus on offense and putting the ball in the basket, but also right there in second place is what Coach Peabody says is get back. So definitely what he expects from us on the defensive end is to really just work hard. Get every defensive rebound, don't let up any offensive boards for the team, and then to just work hard. And he never will call a timeout because they've scored. It'll never be like that. It'll be if someone's not trying, or if, someone lifts up an offensive board, or if, we talked about something in practice on the scout and then we're not performing it in the game, right? That's when he'll call his timeouts on the defensive end. And so, in reality, it's just, if we take care of business on the defensive end and we can push the ball, then, coach is happy.
We're chatting with Gabe Oldham. He is a freshman forward for the Pima Aztecs. They are headed to the national tournament next week as the number 9 seed in the tournament. Gabe is from Spanish Fork, Utah, which is a little bit below Provo, Utah. So I would imagine you grew up a pretty big BYU fan, yeah?
Yeah, you could say so.
Were there any? So I'll ask you this question because U of A fans have a very bad memory of Jimmer Fredette when he came through here. Was that a guy that you were you old enough to watch Jimmer Fredette play a lot of basketball?
Oh yeah, I remember when his song came out and and it seemed like, especially in the Utah County area, that that's what everyone was just kind of singing along to.
So it looks like I'm not familiar with Spanish Fork, but it looks like you guys are kind of near a big lake there. Is that Utah Lake that you kind of are near? Do you spend much time out there on the lake? Is that kind of one of the things you enjoy doing?
Oh yeah, especially right before I came down here to start the off season with Pima. I was just, me and my brother would go out and just fish on Utah Lake any chance we got. So yeah, I'm familiar with Utah Lake.
All right. So when you go fishing, what are you catching at Utah? What are the best fishes that are rolling around in there?
Well, if it's in season, you can catch some white bass.
Ooh,
but
okay.
During the time that I was fishing, I was fishing for catfish.
Nice. Now I understand you're from Spanish Fork. I understand there's also an American Fork. Is that in the neighborhood there?
Yeah, American Fork's a little north of Provo, but yeah, Spanish Fork and American Fork are about 20, 30 minutes apart.
Our producer, our producer who you talked to before coming on the air, his mom is from American Fork, Utah. That's kind of cool.
Okay.
We're talking with Gabe Oldham from the Pima Aztecs. He is taking his team to the national tournament next week. You're a freshman, Gabe, but what have you heard about this event and what it's going to take for the Wildcats to play deep in? For the Aztecs to play deep into it.
I think especially in this game, you can't get distracted. You can't start thinking about the what ifs, about your seedings and all that. Every team's going to be a tough team. I mean, if you take a step back and look at it, this is the top 20 teams in the nation, so you can't overlook anybody. And then I think also that comes along to it is that we got to stay loose at the same time. It's nothing different. We're going to go in there and do the same thing that we've been doing all season. Go in there and play hard and have fun, most importantly. And so I think that, especially our team, how tight and close our team is, we're all friends with each other. I think staying loose will be pretty easy. So as long as we can just come in there and not overlook anybody and just take care of business one day at a time, one game at a time, then we'll be able to make a good run.
Gabe Oldham joining us, Pima Aztecs forward. Gabe, let's talk a bit about you. You're a young man of the Mormon faith. You went on a 2-year mission. So in terms of just you finding Pima, did you know you were going to come here to play basketball before you went on your mission, or was that a decision that you kind of made somewhere along the way after high school?
That was something I made after I had gotten back from my mission. That's when I decided to come down here and play at Pima.
So how did you find Brian Peabody in his program? Is that had he recruited you prior to, or how did you come along being an Aztec?
Yeah, in high school I played in a tournament in Vegas called the Tarkanian, and one of the old coaches, Coach H, he was there. He saw me. He reached out to me, and so when I got back from my mission, I just talked to him, and then he put me in contact with Coach Peabody, and then now I'm here.
So you're probably a few years older than most of the guys you're playing with. What's that kind of like, being maybe a little bit older than those guys?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, one of the red shirts, he always called me Grandpa, even though I'm not even technically the oldest guy on the team.
Okay.
He always called me Grandpa. No, I mean, it's fun. It's really not that big of a difference. I think once you graduate from high school age, it really doesn't matter too much in the bigger picture. But no, I mean, I think just being able to be here on this team with all these guys is just fun in reality.
Tell us a little bit about your mission, where you went, and what you were able to do with that.
Yeah, so I served my mission in California, in Southern California, in the Ventura area around there. And I was Spanish speaking, so I was able to teach the immigrants there. And yeah, it was a really, really cool experience, something that I'll definitely remember for the rest of my life, that changed me and helped me really mature and to not only be able to look out for myself, but, more of the basic things, learn how to live on my own, learn how to cook and clean, take care of myself, stuff like that. So I think it was a really cool experience, and I was really happy I was able to meet so many cool people in California.
Now, did you become fluent in Spanish through high school?
Well, I took a lot of classes in high school, and I was nowhere near fluent. I would say I was pretty cocky with how well I thought I had gotten Spanish. But once I hit the mission field, I remember I go knock on this first house, and we talked to this lady, and she was talking to my companion, right? Missionaries were always in pairs. So she started talking to my companion, who was fluent. And I was like, oh, here we go. I'm about to use my Spanish. And I didn't understand a clue that she said. Not a clue. So I think gratefully throughout my 2 years of being in California and practicing, I was able to get fluent. But yeah, high school Spanish and then actually talking Spanish with real Hispanics and Spanish-speaking people, two different things for sure.
Gabe Oldham is our guest, Pima Aztecs forward. The Aztecs are headed to the national tournament next week. They'll be the 9 seed. You were mentioning you learned how to kind of live on your own. You learned how to cook, and according to your bio, you're a pretty great cook. What's Gabe Oldham cooking at home here in Tucson?
Yeah, I'd say I'm the chief of the crock pot. Give me a slow cooker. I'll throw a block of cream cheese and then any variety of ingredients, and I'll whip it up for sure.
Oh, nice. got crock pot champion there.
Oh yeah, my favorite's been the Fiesta chicken. some beans and corn and chicken and some seasoning. It's good stuff.
Nice. How would you kind of just describe your game as a big man down on the block?
Well, I'll take the nickname from my teammates. They call me Meathead. So, I'm a bigger guy, 230. So I said that's the way I play my game is just, drop my shoulder, get to the rim, and then just a lot of hustle.
You're the banger down there for Brian Peabody, huh?
Exactly.
Well, Gabe, hey, best of luck as you guys embark on this opportunity to try to go to Danville and bring home a national championship. We'll have our eyes on it and hope everything goes well for you guys down there.
Hey, thank you.
Gabe Oldham, freshman forward, Pima Aztecs from Spanish Fork, Utah, averaged 14 points a game this season, shooting 66% from the field. That's that's Umar Ballo territory right there. Umar Ballo shoots 64. Gabe Oldham shooting 66%. That's not bad at all. All right, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We're going to have our question of the day coming up. It's about a subject that you're not going to like, as the Big 12 has made a decision that's going to pain Arizona Wildcats fans as it relates to basketball in our new conference coming up. DK on the Sports Tip. J-Dub is in Tucson. I'm in Las Vegas. Cricket is in Tucson, making sure you get home safely every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Cortero and Thornydale, Shannon and McGee. 5th Street near Craycroft, also a crash 22nd Street and Keno Parkway. Some busy traffic on Oracle at McGee. Some more slowdowns for travel that's headed westbound on I-10 as you approach Ruthroff and westbound I-10 approaching and passing Alvernon. And for your weather, 47 the low, tonight 69 with a 20% chance of rain tomorrow and is 72 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill.
2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Want to support a nonprofit that helps youth and adults in the most challenging moments of their lives and save hundreds of dollars on your Arizona taxes? Donate to Intermountain today and receive a $1 tax credit and support their work for their more than 20,000 at-risk individuals each year. To make your gift and for more information, visit intermountaincenters.org. Intermountain, serving Arizona's health need for 50 years.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Introducing Tanzite Stone Tile Flooring, a game changer in the tile industry. Say goodbye to the trade-off between durability and easy installation with Tanzite's revolutionary indoor-outdoor stone tile. Visit Tanzite.com to see how our tile is installed without concrete or mortar. Instead, our innovative rubber gasket system connects the tiles together. Each tile coming pre-assembled, you simply grab one and place it. No expertise needed. At Tanzite.com, you can see how our foam back tiles contour to cover any existing floor while insulating against sound and cold. Beautiful and versatile. Tanzite tile adapts to indoor or outdoor use, from kitchens to patios, on concrete basements or wooden decks. All with the durability of stone that's guaranteed for life. Witness this innovative product yourself and order a sample today at Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Appreciate Gabe Oldham from Piedmont College men's basketball for joining us. We are here in Las Vegas at the Pac-12 men's basketball tournament. Our coverage here is brought to you by Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Appreciate our guy Ron Arenas and all the great folks over there at Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for sponsoring our road trip here to Las Vegas, where the Wildcats are hoping to win the Pac-12 Conference Championship. Now, couple of things, a couple of programming notes that we'll give you here to start this segment. Obviously, we're going to have basketball here tomorrow. We don't know if we'll have basketball here Friday and or Saturday. That'll be dictated by whether or not the Wildcats can win basketball games. If the Wildcats win tomorrow, we will have basketball here on Friday. If they win on Friday, we'll have basketball here on Saturday. Now, if for any reason the Wildcats don't win games prior to Saturday, if they win tomorrow but happen to lose Friday, we're going to have Arizona baseball for you coming up this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. If the Wildcats, for some reason, can't get past USC tomorrow, we'll have the entire three-game series for you. Arizona baseball taking on Arizona State in the Territorial Cup Series, which is going to be at High Corbett Field this weekend. And Friday night is going to feature none other than Kevin Ginkel from the National League champion Arizona Diamondbacks throwing out the first pitch at the ball game on Friday night for the first game of the series. So that's going to be something exciting. So that'll be Friday night's game starts at 7 o'clock. Saturday's game is at 6, and then the Sunday game is a late game for TV. It'll start at 4 o'clock. Now, Sunday, what we're going to have for you is we will definitely carry Sunday's game. Now, regardless of what happens here in Las Vegas with the Arizona men's basketball team, we will definitely have Arizona baseball for you on Sunday here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We will also have Arizona softball this weekend. Now, Arizona softball will stay on Freedom 1400 KTUC this season. So all those games will be on Freedom 1400 KTUC. And we will have the entire three-game series this weekend as the Arizona Wildcats softball team will host the Washington Huskies this weekend. So you can find all of those games over on Freedom 1400. We'll get to the start times coming up a little bit later, but I believe it's mostly evening Friday, Saturday, and then a day game on Sunday. Derek Palmer will have the call on all of those games as there's no women's basketball this weekend as they await their NCAA tournament berth on Sunday. Now, speaking of the NCAA tournament selection shows, they'll be obviously on Sunday. The men's selection show will be at 3 o'clock. We plan at this moment to have a special for you, just a short special. It's only going to be probably about 50 minutes leading into Arizona baseball on Sunday, live from the Union Public House. And that'll be where the Arizona Wildcats, once again, this year will be having a selection show party, which will be open to the public, so folks can come out and hang out with the team as they watch what their selection is going to be. We'll be out there live from 3 to 3:50. We'll have coverage of that for you on Sunday. So we will, depending on what happens here Saturday night, we will get up early Sunday hit the road to get back to Tucson for the selection show, which begins at 3 o'clock. So that's just a little bit of what we've got coming up for you over the course
You want the
of
times?
the next couple of days. Absolutely, J-Dub.
5 p.m. on Friday, Arizona takes on the Washington Huskies. 4 p.m. is the game on Saturday. This is softball on KTUC. 5 p.m. Friday, 4 p.m. on Sunday, and noon on, 4 p.m. on Saturday and noon on Sunday.
Okay, so
For
5,
the
4,
three-game
and
series.
noon will be the times on those games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Arizona, who won 2 of 3 in their opening series at Oregon State last weekend against the Washington Huskies. And again, all 3 of those games will be on Freedom 1400 KTUC. So, now, yesterday, obviously Arizona is headed to the Big 12. The Big 12 made an announcement yesterday. And that announcement is that their men's and women's basketball tournaments will be staying in Kansas City through 2031. Ironic, because we just talked about this on the show both Monday and Tuesday with Jeff Metcalf from the Pac-12 hotline. We had spoke about it with him on the show yesterday about, what might be the future. We talked about it a little bit with Roxy Bernstein as well yesterday when he joined us on the show, the Pac-12 men's announcer. He called the first game of the day between the USC Trojans and the Washington Huskies. We'll give you some of those highlights coming up here shortly as well about what might be the future and if Las Vegas might be a market that the Big 12 goes after because you've got the Four Corner schools now. The problem with that was always going to be those schools in the East. I think if the Big 12 was traditionally the Big 12 that it had always been, I think definitely, you could have seen a move west. But because you've got schools in Florida, because you've got schools in West Virginia, because you've got the University of Cincinnati, I just don't know if a move to Las Vegas made sense for the Big 12.
I get all that, DK. I think personally it's not quite that complicated. Do you know who the very first coach ever was at the University of Kansas?
Fog Allen?
No, his name was James Naismith.
Oh,
he was the inventor of basketball. Do you know how far it is away from Allen Fieldhouse to the T-Mobile Center? 43 miles.
Okay.
It's 43 miles from the building that Kansas Jayhawks play in to the building that this is being held in. Obviously, that's the school, especially with the teams leaving to go elsewhere next year. That's the school, especially on the basketball side, that will always run things. So I don't think it's any more complicated. I think Vegas for us is central for all the Pac-12 schools. And obviously, you mentioned the South Florida, West Virginia schools. Not exactly easy for them to get out to Nevada. I think Kansas City makes sense centrally for that conference. And I'm sure the Jayhawks had to have some influence. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, no question. Ironically, the building is called T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. So that at least will be the same. But both the women's and men's tournaments are both held at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. It's been home to the Big 12 men's tournament since 2010. Actually, this year is the first year that the women have played their tournament there. So they had been playing somewhere else, but they moved in to that building as well this year. Brett Yormark also announced another Big 10-12 tournament is coming to Kansas City. In fact, let's just hear from Brett Yormark, who spoke on this at the press conference for the Big 12 tournament on Tuesday.
It's great to be back here in Kansas City. I'd be remiss if I didn't say I've been thinking about this community a lot lately. And I hope us being back here for the last week and the continuation this week helps to accelerate the healing process that's going on right now. Sports unifies people. And I hope that happens here throughout the next couple of days. I'm honored to be on the platform today with 3 great community leaders here from Kansas City. Kansas City has played a critical role in the history of the Big 12. And I'm happy to say tonight that it will continue to play a big role in the Big 12. I'm thrilled to officially announce that the Big 12 men's and women's basketball championship will stay right here at T-Mobile and in Kansas City through 2031.
Yay!
Okay? You know, I think I said to many of you last year, I came here for the first time to the community, met with many of the leaders, and it was a real easy decision, you know, when I went back to Dallas, that we needed to double down on this community for all the right reasons. You guys have embraced us. It feels like a Super Bowl each time we're here. The fan support is tremendous. The community support is tremendous. And we truly look forward to doubling down here in Kansas City and calling this our home for our basketball championships in the near future. Additionally, I'm excited to announce that the Big 12 Women's Soccer Championship will also be heading to Kansas City and will be played at the brand new CPKC Stadium, home of the KC Current, through 2025. So it's not just about men's and women's basketball. It will be about women's soccer. And we're so thrilled that we'll be a part of this community and that our relationship is growing. And I look forward to being at the KC Current opener this weekend.
Amen.
And experiencing that incredible venue that this community has helped to build. I want to thank the community here for their continued support of the Big 12. Speaking on behalf of our member institutions and our entire conference, this is our home away from home. And we're just thrilled to be here. Thank you.
All right, that was Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12 Conference, where Arizona is headed. You heard him mention the Kansas City Current. That is the women's professional team in Kansas City, women's soccer, National Women's Soccer League, a team that plays, and they're opening a new stadium there, CPKC. Soccer or football is very big in Kansas City. We've had obviously a number of years where Sporting FC or Sporting KC has come out to train in Tucson. They have a very large following. It's a very big soccer community, and so the Big 12 Women's Soccer Championships will also be held there. Now, and we'll see if we can get you more on this later, but I just want to read you some of the comments that, because Brett Yormark was asked about the possibility of Las Vegas. He was asked if he had had any conversations with the Four Corner schools, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and Arizona State, about the tournament staying in Kansas City. And Yormark mentioned that the Big 12 football media days, which we had talked about last week, the conference announced that the Big 12 football media days are going to be in Las Vegas. That'll be later this summer in early July. He also indicated that other opportunities for us to move closer to the Las Vegas footprint could be in the offing, although he did not specify what those opportunities might be. Brett Yormark went on to say, listen, we are a national conference now. We're in 10 states, 4 time zones, 90 million people in our footprint. We have a lot of optionality out there where we can take our championships. But when it comes to men's and women's basketball, women's soccer, this needs to be our home. This as in Kansas City. He later called Kansas City our home away from home. And so that's where the Pac-12 men's and women's basketball championships will be for the first 7 years of Arizona's existence in the Big 12 Conference. So, our question of the day today is this. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the fact that this is now definitely it for at least the next 7 years in terms of Arizona women's and men's basketball in Las Vegas? How disappointed are you that the Big 12 has made a long-term commitment to Kansas City for the conference's basketball tournaments? Head on over to our Twitter account right now, at Wildcats1290. You can vote in this poll. We've got it up there right now, I gave you just two options on this one. Very disappointed that the Big 12 has made this long-term commitment. Your other option, it is what it is. Right now, 56% of you saying you are very disappointed that the Big 12 has made a long-term commitment to Kansas City to host the conference's basketball tournaments. 56% very disappointed. 44% it is what it is. J-Dub, I'm in the camp of 44%. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, look, it was at Staples for 12 years. People didn't care. People didn't miss Los Angeles when it left Staples.
Right.
I mean, how many years was it in Vegas? 10 years. The first year they held this tournament in Las Vegas was 2013. This will be the final season, so 11 years. I don't get how we could be mad, right? I mean, it's like, we're joining a conference that's well established. If there's forming, let me put it this way. If a new conference is forming, David Kelly, and they're trying to figure out where to put the championship game, and Arizona doesn't have a say in that, I have a problem. But we're talking about a very storied conference that's been playing collegiate athletics for a very, very, very long time. They have their own traditions, right? I mean, it's not, and that's why I mentioned how long it's been in Vegas. It's not like the conference tournament in Vegas has been going on for 80 years. I get that people would rather go to Vegas than Kansas City. I understand. But hey, if you've been saving up your money as a family to go to Vegas for the last 10 years, aren't you sick of Vegas at this point? I mean, I lived up there. I know what it's like. It's, it's fun for a little while, but spread your wings. Maybe the barbecue in Kansas City will be good enough to make you forget about not being able to go.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, maybe there's a reason. So, it is what it is. I agree.
Get your barbecue grub on, because we're going to Kansas City.
I have another secondary question. What about the football championship game? Because that's being held for the longest time.
Dallas, I believe, is
Arlington.
where they've been having it. Yeah.
Yeah, at AT&T Stadium.
I can't. I mean, again, that who knows? They shifted the football thing here for Media Day. I could maybe see. I don't know what the contract is there, but maybe that, if anything shifts, it could be that.
Yeah, I mean, again, only because the Longhorns and Sooners are no longer going to be around, right? So that could change a little bit. We'll see. I don't know the contract on that either. They could have a long extended contract. I'm not seeing anything about that online, but I know it's been there for since 2017.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 2009, 2010 they had it there, and then again because there was no championship game 2011 to 2016. So they've only had it there for about 9 years total.
So we got a few comments on that. We'll read those to you straight ahead in the last hour of our program for today. DK on the Sports Tip coming to you live from T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. The second game of the day has now gone final. The UCLA Bruins, the 5 seed, knock off the 12 seed Oregon State 67-57. We'll dive into some of the numbers from that game as well. We'll hear from Mike Hopkins, who spoke about his departure from the University of Washington after the game today. Very emotional was Mike Hopkins, his old athletic director, Jen Cohen, who is now currently the athletic director at the University of Southern California. She was in the room when he spoke, and we'll let you hear what he had to say about that, as well as his thoughts on the game between Arizona and
also,
USC.
Real quick, DK, it's a final. UCLA wins by 10, and they advance.
Yes, indeed. 67-57, 31 points for Dylan Andrews. He had 7 3-point shots made, 7 of 9 shooting from 3, 11 of 15 shooting from the field. It's DK on the Sports Tip. JW Madden, Cricket, I'm David Kelly. Live from Las Vegas, you're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it is your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Police activity near Wilma and Stella. Please avoid the area of Wilma and Stella due to police activity. Collisions that are reported at Irvington and Campbell. First Avenue and River Road with some eastbound slowing on River east of First Avenue. Cortero Farms Road in Thornydale, also McGee and Shannon is clearing. And for your weather, 47 the low, 69 with a 20% chance of rain tomorrow, and 72 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This free
Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, and the T-Mobile Arena here at the Pac-12. Not Big 12 yet. Next year. Pac-12 men's basketball tournament. Arizona will take on USC on Thursday. The Trojans won the first game of the day. The UCLA Bruins won the second game of the day. So the first 2 quarterfinals are now set. It'll be 9th seed USC against number 1 seed Arizona. And it'll be 5th seed UCLA against number 4 seed Colorado. So how about the fact that the Wildcats could very well get, not only are they going to have to play USC, a team that just beat them, but they could very well get a rematch against the Bruins, J-Dub, in this series this weekend.
Yeah, and I think that's fitting, right? I don't know. I mean, I think UCLA, again, very young team, similar to USC, struggled midway through the year getting wins. That's why their record is what it is. But, you know, they're a team that's very capable, just like we saw USC's capable on Saturday. So I like it. I don't care. I mean, I think there's some fans out there that want to see, quote-unquote, cupcake-type schedule. No, you want to see the most challenging teams. Right now, you want to stay as sharp as you possibly can because, you know, there is a chance to wake up in the morning after a loss here in Vegas, but there's not a chance to wake up in the morning weeks from now. So you really have to be on that one-and-done kind of, mindset. And I think starting off with a rematch against the Trojans and then potential matchup, if you can somehow get past that game with the Bruins, is good. I like that style of, getting challenged along the way.
I do believe I said Colorado. Actually, Oregon is the number 4 seed.
I was going to say, because here's an interesting thing about this matchup. They didn't do this to themselves. It's just the way that the standings are. But the interesting thing, DK, is Washington State and Arizona are in. Okay?
Yeah.
Colorado and Utah are the 2 teams that need to do work. Guess what? Colorado and Utah are likely going to face each other in the next round.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of those 2 teams is going to go, well, Utah could beat Arizona State, and they're obviously down one of their better players. So chances are likely that Utah will win that game. But beyond that, Colorado is going to have to play. Those 2 teams are going to have to play each other, is what I'm saying. And one of them is going to go home happy. They're both on the bubble.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We were talking in the last hour about our question of the day. How disappointed are you that the Big 12 has made a long-term commitment to Kansas City for their conference basketball tournaments? We've had a few comments on this. Greg Thompson checks in. I've been to Kansas. This is on Twitter. I've been to Kansas City. It was fine, but it's not worth traveling 1,000 miles to visit again. Next year, I'll pass on the Big 12 tourney and go to the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament instead. That's Greg Thompson on the Big 12's decision to commit to Kansas City for the next 7 years. Let's hear from Sonny. Sonny, you're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Thanks, David. And actually, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your show. I'm really glad that you and appreciate the show that you guys put together, bringing what I think is sort of quality local radio here. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
The other thing, too, is that I've been to every Pac-12 tournament since they moved to Vegas. I'll be leaving first thing in the morning to try to get there by noon. And I love it. For me, it's like a kid waiting for Christmas every year.
Wow.
I love the weekend. I love the basketball. I love going to Vegas. My wife is a fan. We get in the car and off we go. Can't do that to Kansas City. So to answer your question, I'm not angry. I think that, JW's point about how, we're joining these folks. It's not like we're starting a new a new program. What I am, though, is angry and disappointed, and continue to be that way about the Pac-12 and its demise. I mean, you knew this was coming once that happened, and of course, the last bit of what I think is absurdity is putting your marquee team on what will probably be the best game of the tournament, the Arizona USC game, at noon, 3 Eastern time, where no one will be watching it. It's classic Pac-12 buffoonery. Instead of putting it in prime time at 6 o'clock, and I'm whining because I'm disappointed. I'm also kind of annoyed that I have to leave Tucson at 5 in the morning in order to get to the game, as opposed to leaving at a more comfortable time. But that's it. I'm more disappointed in the Pac-12. Can't really complain about the Big 12. I'm with the last comment you made. I'm not going to Kansas City. One of the things I love about Vegas is that the airlines pump up the prices this time of the year. The $300-$400 flight one way for an hour, but I don't mind getting in my car, driving 6 hours, and it's not a bad drive. It's comfortable. You can usually get a room there with no problem, and if you gamble a little bit, might even get comped. So I'm more disappointed than angry. And thank you guys for the show.
Well, we thank you, Sonny, for your great words and your comments as well. And I'm in the same, mindset that you are. Obviously disappointed about the death of this conference, a conference that we all kind of grew up in this footprint. I'm a Pac-12 grad, obviously, and many of you are as well. And it's just, it's just disappointing to see it all come to an end. It's disappointing the way it all went down. It's estranged to me from my university that I loved, because I feel like they put a lot of this in motion with decisions that they made. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a very fun, convenient place to be in Las Vegas. I'm the same way that you are. I don't know that I've never flown here. I come here now probably once. I've been here probably the last 4 years. I've been here for work. I've been here for pleasure. And I drive every time. Like I said, it's a comfortable 6-hour drive, as long as you don't get hit by any of the potholes around Wickenburg or Wickiup. Sometimes the roads are not the best in those places, but it still can be a pretty fun drive to make. And
hey, Sonny and DK, I got some bad news. It's 1,210 miles to the T-Mobile Center from Tucson. 18 hours and 56 minutes.
Yeah.
Won't be making that drive.
I'll save my money for the tournament. for the NCAA tournament.
There you go. Sonny, thanks so much.
All right, take care, guys. Maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely. Come. Well, you won't be able to find me because I'm in a closet, but if you see me walking around or sitting around in the bowl, please don't hesitate to say hello for sure. Well,
maybe you can hook me up with a ticket, because, by the way, with USC winning, those prices on StubHub, you can't get a ticket on StubHub. The one place that I found tickets, they're at $150 a pop.
Oh, wow.
Which I was a little surprised. So
because LeBron's playing tonight and he's not playing tomorrow, so the chances of some star viewing tomorrow in Las Vegas are pretty high.
Yeah.
So do you think I can go to the box office and tell them I'm LeBron and get a ticket?
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work, Sonny.
It's worth a shot.
I don't know if that's going to work.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sonny. Appreciate you. And J-Dub, I don't know, what the other thing Sonny mentioned about the timing. I'd have to go back and look at the former brackets. I mean, I would imagine this is the way they've always done it, where they play the number one seed in the morning, or they have the first game. I don't know why.
Well,
again, 12 o'clock here is 3 o'clock, but still, that's relatively early. You would think you would want your marquee number one team playing maybe at least in the second game.
Of course. And the obvious logic behind that is, you don't have to play in today's game, so you get the bye. The teams that do have to play in today's games, DK, you have to give that team enough time to get rest to be ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So in other words, whoever the two teams that are facing off with the chance to play the one seed at Arizona tomorrow, you got to give them at least 24 hours. So they played at noon today. They have 22 hours, 21 and a half hours to get ready for tomorrow's noon game. On the flip side of that, the next game after that, the Friday game. So you want to give the one seed some kind of benefit, some kind of reward for getting that one seed. And the reward You want that reward to be a primetime game, but the reward is actually an extra 5 hours of rest because the next game is 5 p.m. on Friday, and that's why they're playing at noon.
Yeah. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Brad Hawk checks in on Twitter to the question of the day, which is how disappointed are you that the Big 12 made the long-term commitment to Kansas City for both the women's and men's basketball conferences? Brad Hawk, who also goes by Coach B Hawk, says people need to stop acting like the Big 12 should be catering to us hand and foot. We aren't saving them. They're saving us from becoming OSU, as in Oregon State and Washington State. We show up, bring value, and dominate the conference, then we can get upset over crap like this. That's Coach Brad Hawk. We always appreciate Coach B Hawk's comments as well. All right, we want to hear more from you, 520-848-1290, on this subject, as well as on your thoughts about Arizona and USC coming up on noon on Thursday in the first game of the quarterfinal round. Cricket, though, first and foremost, gets you home every 15 minutes on the fives. Every 20 minutes. I can't even do math right now. 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. With reported collisions, we've got crashes for First Avenue and River Road with some slowing on eastbound River, east of First Avenue, Lambert Lane and La Cañada, 22nd Street at I-10, also Irvington and Campbell, and a collision at McGee and Shannon and McGee. 47, the overnight low, about 69, 20% chance of rain tomorrow, and 72 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, the Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white-on-black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Keep allergies at bay with our duct cleaning, aerosol duct sealing, and air purification services. Our family at Picture Rocks wants your family to breathe clean, healthy air.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing is sending DK and the pregame show to Las Vegas for the men's basketball tournament as they cheer on the Arizona Wildcats. Tune into pregame coverage right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, this is Mike Hanley, former president of Bank of Tucson.
and I'm thrilled to announce that I have joined the Advisory Business Council of Meridian Wealth Management and Natalie Fernandez-Lee, Meridian's partner and advisor, who I am a great fan of. She has worked with many individuals and businesses in the community for decades. We live in crazy times these days and need the right financial advice, which is so important. If you'd like to talk to Natalie, give her a call at 719-1433 and have a great day.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Sport fans in Tucson can't survive without 1290. In the fall, we bring you Arizona football, the NFL, and the Super Bowl. Then 1290 brings you Arizona men's basketball, and in the spring, Arizona baseball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Progressive protects more than just your home and car. You could save when you bundle your motorcycles, ATVs, boats, and RVs. Doesn't that sound good? Like the sound of the wind in the trees as your RV sits parked in the forest. Is that the call of the majestic owl? And there's the sound of a tree branch crashing into the roof of your RV. Oof, I guess their nest was in that branch. But you know what does sound good? You're covered with Progressive. So bundle all your vehicles and home in one place and save with the multi-policy discounts. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. In fact, text app to 520-848-1290. I will send you a link so that you can download our app and keep it on your phone because our app slaps. I think we've got everything up to date now with our times because, even though we don't celebrate daylight savings time in Arizona, everyone else does, and it affects our clocks because we deal with networks and that kind of thing. Right now, if you head on over to our app, you'll hear a little bit about the 3-point night by, don't even know if I can pronounce this hockey player's name, Kirill Kaprizov. Did I get that right, hockey fans? Kirill Kaprizov, who had 3 points last night to lead the Minnesota Wild to a win over your Arizona Coyotes. So if I got that name right, Kirill Kaprizov, the Wild beat the Coyotes last night 4-1. And don't forget, there's and I totally forgot this week. I'm so basketball's on the brain that there's hockey in Tucson tonight, and there was hockey in Tucson last night. The Tucson Roadrunners are playing, and so unfortunately I forgot to give away the tickets this week. That's on me, but they play tonight if you want to head on out to the arena, and there's not too many more games left in the regular season, but you can see them take on Henderson. They're actually playing Henderson tonight at home. They beat Henderson last night by a score of 4-0. Matthew Villalta is back in goal, which is good news for the Tucson Roadrunners. He had gone up for a spell with the Arizona Coyotes, but it was playing extremely well down here and led the shutout last night for a win of 4-0. So that game will face off coming up here in about an hour at Tucson Arena. So my apologies, I did not give out the tickets this week, but I'll make sure that I stay on top of that. And we do that. Tucson right now in second place. They're 9 points behind Coachella Valley, which was the team that knocked them out of the postseason last year. Coachella Valley in first place now with 78 points. Tucson in second with 69, tied with Colorado at 69. Ontario right there behind Tucson and Colorado with 68 points. So it is a pretty close dogfight. Then you've got Bakersfield at 66. So 4 teams within 3 points of second place right now as we come down the home stretch. Final, I'd say 12 games or so of the regular season for the American Hockey League. So be sure you get out there and support those Tucson Roadrunners. All right, I want to read a few more of these comments, and we're going to let you hear from Mike Hopkins, who spoke about his departure from the University of Washington today. And again, our question of the day, how disappointed are you that the Big 12 made a long-term commitment to Kansas City? They announced that on Tuesday. They are staying in Kansas City. The Big 12 women's and men's basketball tournaments will be in Kansas City through the year 2031. So Arizona's first 7 years in the Big 12, we're going to be heading to Kansas City. Or not heading to Kansas City, as it sounds like for most people. Donnie Archuleta checks in. Why would the Big 12 give Arizona a home court advantage with this tournament? They aren't going to give it. They aren't going to give in to having the Arizona Invitational right away. How does T-Mobile, being the title sponsor of both arenas, play into the future possibility of Vegas and Kansas City alternating years? That's a great question, Donnie. We might have to look into that. And I mentioned at the top, the T-Mobile Center is what it is called in Kansas City. The T-Mobile Arena is what it is called here in Las Vegas. I don't know if there is a connection there, but that would be good to find out, Donnie. I appreciate you checking in. Big 16 count of Arizona, as he is known, says kind of regret going to that conference, especially with all the arrogant second-class schools fans talking crap. It's like we died, came back, and are surrounded by 14 Utahs and Arizona States. Thank you, Big 16 count of Arizona, for your thoughts on the subject. 520-848-1290 if you want to text us. You can also interact with us and answer that question on the app. Just go to the app. You can do a text message. You can do a voice message. You can do a video message. If you got something you want to say and you want to put yourself on video, go to the app, put yourself on video, submit it through our app, and I might actually put it up on one of our social media channels so everybody can hear what you have to say on this subject. All right, let's go to we'll come back here and hear from Mike Hopkins. Mike Hopkins spoke after the game about a number of things, one including his thoughts on the matchup tomorrow between Arizona and USC. He also talked about this being the final game that he would coach at the University of Washington.
Your thoughts, on USC overall, I mean, clearly healthy finally. Your thoughts on their matchup tomorrow, just a quick opinion, and then will you accept a bid to the NIT should they invite you?
You know what, first part of your question, USC, it's hard in a season for a lot of programs that have new players to get the gel and to figure out the combinations. Injuries or so many different things that go into a season. But they've got a good chemistry now, and it seems like they're playing better together. They're really defending, which you can see, and beating us at home and then beating Arizona at home. That's they've got some good momentum and starting to believe in what they're doing. Not that they didn't before, but on the outside, you see them really believing, and that becomes very dangerous. I don't think our league gets a lot of credit. I think Arizona is, top 4 teams in the country. We had a lot of teams that struggled early that are really, really good in league, like UCLA, Cal. This is, in my 7 years, it's probably been the best top to bottom league. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night, and that's what made this year so much fun. So the next game I'm going to have to watch, but both teams are high level. They've got high level talent. Both systems are really good. But certain guys are going to have to make some plays, and that will probably determine the difference. If we get invited to NIT, I would like to play. But I think a big thing is going to be up to the guys. Wanting to go out there and compete. Playing in the postseason is an honor, for most. Not our standard, but the honor.
Back to Kim here.
Coach, we all know how passionate you are,
Yeah.
and I know this has just been kind of maybe a little bit of a tough week and a little bit of a relief as well. But what's next for Coach Hop?
Oof. Poise, I tell you, poise. But great places are made by having and being around great people. And I've been very lucky in my 7 years at the University of Washington. Very blessed. He decided to come back. It's all about the people. Places are just places. Great people make great places, and we have great people. And the program, the athletic program that Jen Cohen helped build, the culture, the coaches all backing each other, really, really special to be a part of that. She gave me a chance. Wish I had some more wins and losses, or more wins, less losses. But I'm really proud of getting through COVID. You know, getting kids, helping kids graduate, making a difference in their lives. That's what it's really about in college athletics. I'm emotional. Didn't want to cry, but it's just who I am. Like it or lump it. This guy, to see a guy, I told him, I said, and he's gonna hate me for saying this, but I said, the biggest upset in your life, your whole life, people said you're gonna be one and done, two and done, and no one ever talked about you graduating. He's gonna graduate, he's gonna get drafted. He's one of the most improved players, not just what I think if we had more wins, he'd been player of the year in the league. And to see the growth and the professionalism of this young man, the leadership has been just a joy. And like I told the group in there, we'll be connected for the rest of our lives. That's what makes being part of a team so special. And yeah, I have I'm a UW fan. You know, I just be for the rest of my life just given the opportunity and represent the university as best as I could. And so, you know, thank you all for being great to me. Percy, Kim, Chris, Jen, Andy, Jam, Sammy. You know, it's been a great run, and I just appreciate you being great people to me. Thank you. Good.
One last one for Percy here.
Oh God, come on, Percy.
Yeah. No. This is not for you.
Let me roll out of here. Let me roll out of here on a skateboard.
For like you, KB, you know, just maybe a word or two about your coach, and just I don't know, how tough or difficult was this sort of week, kind of knowing everything that you know now?
It was extremely tough. I love Coach Hop and the whole staff and everybody for giving me an opportunity to find myself again. You know, I came here and I wasn't the most confident, and every day I'd just be walking around. Coach Hop, he'd just tell me, "You're a beast. You're this, you're that." He just kept, you know, pushing life and confidence back into me, and then it got to the point where I started to believe it again myself. And, you know, I owe everything to him and the staff and the support staff for always taking care of me every day. No, it sucks. You know, I wish it could have turned out differently, but, you know, everything happens for a reason. You learn from everything, and I'm happy I decided to come here. I'm happy I decided to come back. Everything that's happened here, I'm going to take with me the rest of my life. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Met some amazing people, and you know, like you said, we're going to be connected forever. But this man right here, I'll do anything for him, and man, I just can't say anymore. Man, I love him. I love everybody that's been a part of this, and you know, yeah.
That was Keon Brooks Jr., who we heard from last there, the talented scorer for the University of Washington. Did not have a great game today. 4 of 16 shooting, 1 of 8 from 3. Finished with just 3 points, averaging 21 on the season, and he had been playing really well. Scored 32 in a game against UCLA, 20 and 22 against Washington State. They went into Pullman and upset the Cougars to essentially hand the title to the Arizona Wildcats, but Keon just did not have the shooting touch today, unfortunately, as they fell to Southern California by a score of 80-74. You could hear the emotion from head coach Mike Hopkins there, J-Dub, and it's like we said, like you said, and like Kim said when he joined us a little bit earlier, Kim Grinolds from Dogman.com. I mean, that's a guy that you root for. He's a good man, and you hate to see that the success just didn't come the way that he had wanted it to.
Yeah, I think as Kim mentioned, there's been injury issues, players who are ineligible, declared ineligible, but pre-COVID, Hopkins really had it going up there in Seattle. I think, an aside real quick, DK, I think it's difficult in this era where we're talking about so many transfers, so many players jumping program to program. Mike Hopkins runs a very complex defense, and you have to be connected. Everybody on the court has to be together. And it's unfortunate. You see a little bit of the same thing at UCLA. Cronin's style of defense has to have a lot of guys really on the same page, anticipating where each other's going to be defensively. And you look at the struggles for those teams. I'm not making commentary that you should simplify your defenses, coaches, or anything like that. It just seems to me like when you have an era like we had post-COVID where so many players now in the NIL era with the transfer portal going crazy, it's really difficult for teams or for coaches and philosophies like that where you have a very complex defense. It's hard for guys to get on the same page. And as you said, I mean, clearly, as you heard there from Keon Brooks, leader in the conference in scoring and a senior, there's nothing but love. So everybody talks about Coach Hopkins, talks about how important he is to them, and I have no doubt that he'll land on his feet. It's a sad day. Obviously, that program is now going with the new basketball coach and new football coach into their new conference. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, you heard him. You heard him. If you would get a chance to watch the video, he when he got emotional there, he pointed to the back of the room. He was pointing at Jen Cohen, the athletics director at the University of Southern California, who was the former athletics director at Washington. She was the AD that hired him there, and just seeing her in the room there to support him, I think obviously clearly meant a lot to Mike Hopkins, and that's a guy. He'll bounce back. He'll bounce back. We'll see. I'm sure there might be another opportunity out there for him, or he's going to go and be a part of somebody's staff and be a very, very good part of another program here on the Division I level.
It's easy to judge character on somebody's best day when everything's going well, but I think real judge of character is when somebody's having their worst day. And when you're talking about the support coming out, you hear what the players are talking about. Clearly a much-loved player coach up there. And after spending 20 years on the bench waiting for his shot, having 7 years up there, I'm sure he'll land on his feet. I'm sure he's going to get another job. A very good coach. It just needs to get the right players in his system, and I'm sure he'll have great success down the road.
All right, we will have much more coming up for you. Final segment of the show is straight ahead. We will have our Desert Diamond Casino replay. We'll read a few more of your comments on the Big 12's decision to move to to stay in Kansas City, not maybe consider Las Vegas. Maybe Las Vegas is in the offing for some things, but in terms of basketball, Kansas City is going to be the place for the next 7 years, the first 7 years of the Arizona Wildcats' existence in their new conference. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet. With some backups on eastbound River Road as you approach via Entrada. Had an earlier crash reported at First Avenue and River Road. Other collisions at Irvington and Campbell. New wreck, Golf Links east of Wilmot. Lambert Lane and La Cañada, also 22nd Street at I-10. Police activity at Wilmot and Stella. And for your weather, 47 our overnight low, 69 with a 20% chance of rain tomorrow, and 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together.
When you've been part of the fabric of a community for 100 years, you just want to celebrate. So that's what we're doing. It's our 100-year anniversary party on March 23rd, and you're invited.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. At Lowe's, pros save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 230 or more select James Hardie fiber cement siding panels. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live. When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Planning for spring at Lowe's means big savings on outdoor power equipment, and Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Buy one select Ego string trimmer, leaf blower, or mower kit. Get one select 56-volt battery free. That's up to a $299 value. Power through spring with Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 4/3 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Ball forward, take your base.
The only thing worse than a pitcher running out of gas on the mound is your old phone running out of storage for your photos in the stands.
Goodbye, home run.
Switch to Verizon and get a great deal on a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage for all the ballpark pics you want. Just trade in your iPhone, any model, in any condition, so you'll feel like you're winning, even when your team's not. Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on iPhone 15 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate and get iPad and Apple Watch SE with eligible service plan, only on Verizon.
Elevate your outdoor living space this year using stone. Tanzite has developed stone decking crafted without any plastic composite materials to redefine durability. Visit tanzite.com to see how stone decking doesn't scratch, stays cooler, isn't slippery, and has all the durability you would expect from stone, which is why it's guaranteed for life. At tanzite.com, you will see how we develop stone to easily transform any ordinary wood deck. You can even make your deck waterproof for a dry space below. Versatile and adaptable, Tanzite is perfect for decks, stairs, over concrete, or ground applications. Visit tanzite.com to start planning your project with a free 3D design and construction plan tailored to your space. Order a sample today to witness the incredible beauty and durability firsthand at tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
What's up, folks? Anthony Armstrong here. Bob Popple, along with Super Bowl champion Carl Banks.
Hey, NFL fans. This is Solomon Wilcox, former NFL safety and host of the Believe in Bengals podcast. Catch my show and all 32 Believe NFL podcasts. Listen in to former players give their inside perspective on your favorite team. Search Believe, that's BLEAV, on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast.
It's always football season, wherever you listen.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man.
We are Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. And we have got the final 2 games of the day straight ahead here at the Pac-12 Men's Basketball Tournament in Las Vegas. So it'll be the evening session, which will get underway here shortly. And the first game of the evening session will be a rivalry game as Stanford takes on California in the 7-10 game. The winner of that contest will go on to face the Washington State. Do I have that right here? Let me double check. Yeah, the Washington State Cougars, who are the number 2 seed. And then the nightcap will be Arizona State and Utah, with the winner of that game advancing to face Colorado. The games earlier, if you missed the finals on those, number 9 seed USC knocked off number 8 Washington 80-74, and number 5 UCLA beat number 12 Oregon State 67-57. We've been talking a little bit about our question of the day this last hour. How disappointed are you in the fact that the Big 12 came out on Tuesday and announced that they are staying with their men's and women's basketball tournaments in Kansas City? They will not be moving them anywhere. They will not be moving them to Las Vegas. Right now, 57% of you saying very disappointed. 42% or 43% of you saying it is what it is. One young lady checks in. Her name is Catherine Marine. J-Dub, she has just one word.
Okay, what's that?
Boo.
Yeah. I mean, it's let's see, simple math here. It's a 800-mile difference between the two drives, so yeah.
Catherine Marine keeps it simple. Boo is her one-word response to that in terms of the Big 12. We'll let you hear more of Brett Yormark maybe tomorrow on our pregame show. He went on and had a few more things to say about the Four Corner schools that are going to be joining Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah, and just kind of how they will meld into this new conference, which will be the future for Arizona. We'll let you hear a little bit more of what he had to say coming up tomorrow in that respect. Right now, though, let's give you our Desert Diamond Casino replay for today.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
And we had a chance to chat with Gabe Oldham from Pima College. He is a freshman forward for Brian Peabody's club as they are heading to the national tournament for Division II in NJCAA, and I asked Gabe about the Region 1 championship game last Saturday night up in Chandler, which they won 64-61, which was a departure from the kind of games that Pima is used to playing or likes to play this season, because they have been a team that routinely scores over 100 points. And I asked him about how the Aztecs navigated winning a low-scoring game.
Yeah, I mean, that was a change up for us for sure. I think going into that game, it was a lot more defensive focused than offense, which, yeah, was weird for us because, usually we're just pushing that score up all the way to the hundreds. Coach Peabody always says race to 100. So first team to get to 100 wins. So, yeah, scoring only 64 points, in a game was really weird for us. But I think the way we navigated was really good. I think through the film sessions, the coaching staff took us through about the game plan, but also showed to us our weaknesses, especially with it being defense. And I think we executed it defensively pretty well. Definitely had a lot of hiccups offensively, but I was really happy with how we performed in that game defensively.
Gabe, I've joked with Coach Peabody a number of times. You guys obviously beat Chandler Gilbert in that title game. There was a game you played them at home earlier this year. I don't know if you remember this, where he took like 4 timeouts in the first 4 minutes of the game. You remember?
Oh, of course.
What were you guys thinking that night, where you're like a minute into the game, he takes a timeout, then he takes another timeout? I mean, he just kept taking timeouts. What were you guys thinking when he just kept taking timeouts in that 4-minute stretch?
I mean, I think it's just, in reality, everyone has what they want to say about coaching, when you take your timeouts, all that. But I think in that moment for us, we're all just kind of realizing like we really got to put our heads on straight and come to play. Like especially against good teams, you can't expect to come out in the second half and play well and then still to win. You got to off the bat, you need to be able to play well and to for us at least to run up the score.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
And best of luck to both the Pima basketball teams as they head to their national tournaments. The ladies as a number 13 seed, the fellas as a number 9 seed to Illinois and Michigan, respectively. We'll give you more information on those events and the teams that they'll be facing. The men are, like I said, are number 9, so it is a 16-team event, so they will likely play the number 8 seed in the tournament there.
Also, real quick, DK, any listeners who are interested in hearing more from Mr. Gabe Oldham and the whole conversation, that interview, along with the interview with Brian Jeffries from earlier and Kim Gernolds, have all been uploaded to our website, wildcatsradio1290.com. That's where we archive all of our interviews every day.
Absolutely. So head on over to our website. You can also find those on our app. So download our app and take it wherever you need to go because our app slaps for sure. The NJCAA national tournaments will have representation. Crap. It's not crap anymore. It slaps for sure. Cool. For sure. Want to read a few more comments. Matthew Botwell checks in on Facebook. He says, my parents are in Vegas for the tournament. They began going the past 4 years. Wish I could have gone to the final Pac-12 tournament, but don't want to go back-to-back weeks off at work. He says he'll definitely be heading to Kansas City no matter what. So appreciate Matthew Botwell for checking in with his thoughts on the Big 12 announcing that they'll be going and keeping their tournaments in Kansas City.
On that note, DK, like we talk about who is upset about going the tournament being quote unquote moved. It's not being moved. It's just they're going to a new conference.
Yeah.
But let me tell you one thing. How many U of A chants have we heard on the road this year? We heard U of A chants in Cameron freaking Indoor Stadium this year. So I have zero doubt in my mind that whoever decides they're not going to make the trip, they have been going to Vegas. There's plenty of Arizona Wildcat fans, especially from the East Coast. We talk about how far it is, but I lived with 10 people during my time on campus from New Jersey and New York. So I know there's a lot of alumni out on the East Coast. So I'm sure that the Cats will be well represented in Kansas City as well.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. I mean, again, you really look forward to these things and how it's all going to play out moving forward. And you know that like you mentioned, there's U of A fans all over the country, and we're going to see them now maybe have a little bit more access to their teams playing in a more of an Eastern Midwest footprint. So I'm absolutely loving it. In fact, if you're in one of those places, we'd love to hear from you. 520-848-1290. You can call us, you can text us, you can interact with us on our social media because we want to hear how you feel if you're living east of the Mississippi River or somewhere in, whether it's Kansas or Oklahoma or Illinois or Indiana or some of those places where now you'll have a little bit closer access to your Wildcats.
It's like they always say, the old adage, it goes, for every slot machine that closes, a barbecue joint opens. That's how that goes.
Did you just make that up right now?
Maybe. No, they say it. That's what people say, DK. They say it all the time.
I've never heard. Wait, say that again.
No, it's for every door that closes, another one opens type of thing. Like I just think there's a lot.
I
of
like that. No, I like what you
Yeah.
said better. For every slot machine that closes, a barbecue joint opens. We got to put that on T-shirts, man. We got to race out and get the patent on that because you just coined something great there.
Well, I am a graphic designer, so I could put something together.
There you go, man. I love that. I love that. William Jones says the decision by the Big 12 makes decisions to stay home easy. Okay, so we're all over the place on this right now. Some people don't care, and a lot of people obviously are not liking it. So we'll continue to, check in on our social media accounts. We'll continue to read those tomorrow as well. You can still vote on that poll. It'll be up for about another 22 hours or so. All right, before we get out of here real quick today, I want you to hear Nick Saban real quick. We'll play this here. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. He had some thoughts on NIL this week. Let's hear what the old, well, he's not the old ball coach that's taken, but the legendary ball coach had to say about NIL.
All the things that I believed in for all these years, 50 years of coaching, no longer exist in college athletics. So it's always was about developing players. It was always about helping people be more successful in life. My wife even said to me, we'd have all the recruits over on Sunday with their parents for breakfast, and she would always meet with the mothers and talk about how she was going to help and impact their sons and how they would be well taken care of. And she came to me, like right before I retired and said, why are we doing this? And I said, what do you mean? She said, all they care about is how much you're going to pay them. They don't care about how you're going to develop them, which is all what we've always done. So why are we doing this? So, to me, that was sort of a red alert that we really are creating a circumstance here that is not beneficial to the development of young people. As I said before, name, image, and likeness is a great opportunity for them to create a brand for themselves. I'm not against that at all. But to come up with some kind of a system that still can help the development of young people, I think, is paramount to the future of college athletics.
Good stuff there by the top dog, Nick Saban. We'll get more into that and what he said there coming up in the coming days. But that is going to wrap up our program for today. Thanks to Gabe Oldham. Thanks to Kim Grinolds from dogman.com. Brian Jeffries as well. As always, most of all, thanks to you for listening. For JW Madden and Cricket, I'm David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you 8 a.m. Countdown to tip-off, Arizona and USC in the morning.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic.
So just let me know what other sound we might need.